All right, now you guys can hear me. OBS doing its thing, and I'm not sure why OBS does that. Like it just randomly resets my audio. But yeah, getting started for the day. Gonna try to do GTE if we can get enough people in the lobby. My points are usually pretty low, even if I win, just due to smaller lobbies. But I really enjoy GTE. I like the new tire model. The cars are a lot of fun. I did a few laps before starting the stream, just so I could know about how much fuel I would need for the race. But that's it. Really haven't driven much this week. It's been a very busy week for me. I did try the GT4 and the AC Evo update, but outside of that, not a lot of driving. I'd like to do, we'll see how it goes, one or two of these, and then maybe some custom lobbies where we jump around different tracks. Last week we mainly did High Rock, and we'll definitely do that today, but I'll probably mix it up a little more this time. So we've got a few people joining in, always good. Saturday mornings can be a little slow, not just PMR, but most racing games. At least that's the way it kind of always was for me in the past when I would do Forza or Le Mans Ultimate. I'm not sure which car will be, if there is a meta at this track. I would imagine the C8R is really good just because it has such good rotation. I think I'm actually faster in GT3 though right now, just because you can drive the GT3 car so hard with that tire model. I think GT3 is like 136s. GTE, I'll probably be 137s if I do a good lap. That looks good. Oh, we got some big names in this lobby. It's gonna be a good race. In my practice, I just used the tire warmers so I could get a few hot laps and see how much fuel I would use. I don't know how long it'll take to get the tires up to temp. This track, the rear right tire always takes the biggest beating. maybe. I'm guessing the 4th lap will be when I can really start pushing, but maybe we can do a little bit next lap. Temps are starting to come up. Tire pressures are still pretty low. A touch late on the brake there. May need to tweak the tire pressures a little bit. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, I'd like the tire pressures just a touch higher. That's better. A little too early there. I lost time that last part, but that'll do it. Yeah, I wonder if they DQ'd. It's their own track. Hopefully they didn't get disconnected.
That's P1. Fantastic.
Hey, what's up, Chris? We'll try that. I don't know if I really want to go up to maybe too much. But we'll roll with it. We'll see how that goes. Only 4 on the grid, so I guess those other guys either got disconnected or left. I got a bad jump. The guy behind me got a good jump, but he let up. Clean driver. Old tires. Hey, yeah, I was not able to drive. I was busy working. I did have it on in the background most of the time, but it looked like a good time. They were really giving EJ a hard time. It was pretty funny. I feel like the tires warm up a little quicker in the race than in qualifying. Maybe they start out warmer. Okay, tires are getting close now. Not quite there, but close. I will say I think it's awesome that the devs do stuff like that. I imagine that was fairly late in the day for them on a Friday. And not once did I hear them complain like, oh, they wanted to go or something. It sounded like they were really having a good time. So I didn't get to do a lot this week, but I'm in the middle of NGT, and then after that will be GT and GT4, and then I'll be good as far as updating the existing setups I have. Yeah, I haven't messed with GTO. I think my next project is I'm going to mess around with balancing the GT3s just and the tire models just for fun. If I come up with something good, I'll share it as a mod, but that'll probably take a little while. And then of course I may do some more setups while I'm doing that. That's one of the great things about this game is, you know, I can't do that with a lot of the other games. Balance the cars the way I want, stuff like that. Just don't have the option. Hey, thanks, Chris. I just feel like the GTE tire model is so good. Yeah, I don't know what perfect would be like, so I can't say it's perfect by any means, but I just really enjoy it. These cars feel, they just feel so good. It's like a good blend of, they're not a chore to drive, but you know, if you do push it too hard or do something stupid, you can definitely get it bent out of shape. And of course, braking's not easy. I have load cell pedals, so I don't really find it that difficult. But I can see where some people may have trouble locking up. Yeah, the Audi, I think, isn't that all-wheel drive? So your fronts are going to get cooked for sure. If you drive it hard, especially. Which I think that car is probably meant to be driven hard. I love this track. And you can go out on this curve here. That was death in Forza. If you got out, it would just pull you off. Good race. Hey, Chris, what do you mean give the bar to 1.0 lowest and then 90 to 98? I guess 90 to 98 brake pressure. I just used 100 brake pressure. But coming from Forza, I didn't use ABS in Forza, so I'm used to braking at like 75% or around that. It was actually a big adjustment for me to move to LMU because, you know, you definitely slam the brake, brake much harder in that game if you run brake pressure at 100. Yeah, I don't think lowest PSI is the way to go. It can depend on the class of car. Wow, we got 17 minutes. Yeah, I just can't get a lot of points. So, and reading the Hadron files, again, depends on the class of car and whether it's dry or wet. But the optimal tire pressure seems to be around 1.8 bar for front and 1.9 bar for rear, at least in GT, GT3. And I take that as optimal as you're maximizing the contact patch. So there may be some reasons why you would want to differ slightly there. But for me, and when I'm making my setups, I've been using that lately, and it does seem to give me the best time when I'm around that. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm trying to get a tire pressure into a certain window. Of course, you know, temperature matters also. But, you know, a slight change in tire pressure doesn't affect the tire temperature that much. Yeah, so we've got 15 minutes. Did you guys want to jump into a custom lobby, like a 10-minute practice, and then come back and register? Probably be more fun than waiting. I can set a timer. Maybe I did GT4 last. I guess that was from last weekend. I love the gray with the yellow. It's so good. I guess practice can only be minutes. If anybody wants to jump in, I imagine nobody will, but something to do. This is where I would like in ranked. Based on the stream, watching it yesterday, I completely understand why they're not going to have a practice server open that you join. But it would be cool if you had a button that you could just say, start practice in ranked when they add the join in progress. Oh, what's up? We got Lukey in here. But what I was saying is join it, and it would automatically send you to the weekend screen, but with the settings, the same time of day and all of that from ranked already pre-configured. So all you have to do is jump in. That would be pretty cool. And then I imagine it'll be something like LMU where it has a little clock or something that counts down that tells you how long before registration ends or something. Oh yeah, we got AJ. We got Chandler. I cannot remember. Maybe you changed it. I thought you had a different gamer tag. Or in the chat, it'll be different than Chandler. Maybe that's been changed. So I'm pretty sure you're Chandler in the chat also now. I get confused. I cannot remember all the names and the in chat and when they're different. Is it me or the ping seems pretty good? Like so we've got a lot in the US. But even when I was watching EJR stream yesterday, it was rarely over 150 ping, and there were people from all over the place. Also, if you're commenting from YouTube, I'm not seeing anyone comment from YouTube, so there could be something YouTube having issues and I just can't see it. That happens quite a bit. Let me check. Huh. Yeah, sorry guys, all the chat that's been happening in YouTube, not a single one came through my system. Yeah, sorry guys, all the chat that's been happening. So Howling Brown, Nate, Chandler, there we go. So it is the same. Yeah, I'm getting confused. My bad. Lukey, Racer14, Tom. Oh, no doubt, Tom. I love Lamar is incredible, especially multi-class there. Hey, what's up, Smash? Eagles. Yeah, so I didn't test. What's up, AJ? I see your comment down there now. Yeah, everything's going well, AJ. Yeah, I didn't mind the garage. I kind of like the garage setting. So for me, the UI, either way, it wasn't a big deal. As long as I can get to the track quick. All right, I'm gonna close and reopen my app, and hopefully I can start seeing the chat. Yeah, I don't know, that is so weird. Now they all come in. It looks like I missed a couple. Yeah, so Howland Brown, I did see a lot of the EJ stream yesterday. It was so awesome. The devs joining in like that. Chandler, his Porsche setup. Yeah, I think I want to say the Porsche and GTE is the RSR, is a mid-engine, so Cayman platform. Yeah, Chandler. So you matched. Okay, so maybe I'm not crazy. I thought at one time, but then I remembered that it's the same now. But yeah, I did think there was a difference at one time. Okay, at least for the moment, YouTube chat is now showing up. So AJ, have you been playing mainly PMR or LMU or? I know you were LMU, or at least trying it out there for a while. I felt like at least Mets came to kind of the same conclusion that I came to. I mean, that game takes more effort to be decent at and really enjoy it. But then when you do that and you just get killed every other race, yeah, it just loses some of the appeal. Although I see the old chats, I'm not seeing any new chats, so that's not good. Chandler, I saw your comment LMP, so I'll probably do one more GTE, and then maybe we'll do some custom lobbies, multi-class. Hey, what's up, EJR? That was a great stream yesterday. Yeah, it just seems like you guys were having fun, the devs, sharing information. You know, if I were in their shoes, I would be one of the guys who wouldn't want to come on because I'd be afraid I'd say something I'm not supposed to. But yeah, they did a great job. You did a great job hosting as well. It's a good first podcast or cast, PGR cast. All right, guys, now we're gonna go jump into the GTE ranked. Yes, yeah, I can see where that would be hard. Do you plan to, is it mainly sim racing or a little bit of everything? Bike stuff also? Yeah, I feel like that's something I don't know that much about. I'd probably find information talking to other people who are in your industry with drag racing bikes and stuff. That would be cool also. Did any of you guys watch the Long Beach qualifying yesterday? Robert Wickens, he qualified second, but the Lexus that qualified first ended up having a ride height violation, so he's on pole now. Yeah, nice. Yep. Hopefully we can have another clean race. So GTE for me, I guess it's the level of people who like this always seems, for the most part, you know, people are trying to stay clean. If I do 992 cup, it feels like absolute chaos. I haven't even tried GT3 in ranked since the update, or I guess since this month transitioned over. Does anyone know, like, did he just name himself removed user, or is that actually what got put in when someone got removed from the database, or like deactivated or whatever? Yeah, Chandler, I have no links, no Discord, nothing set up. Hey, what's up, Lincoln? Yeah, I keep it simple. Yeah, if you haven't checked out EJR Racing's stream from yesterday with the devs, definitely go check that out. And even once they start racing, the devs occasionally they're still sharing little tidbits here and there. So it's definitely, if you're doing something around the house or whatever, just put it on in the background and listen. You'll learn a lot. Yeah, Lincoln, it gave a lot of info. $15. This is going to be a good one. At least I hope so. Hey, sounds good, Lincoln. Yeah, Nate, I thought EJ did a great job hosting something like that. Would not be easy. At least I've never done that, but I would think it takes a lot of prep. Keep things moving along and not get stale. Got a lot of big names in the lobby.
Keep it 100%. We need this pole position.
That's the first time I've ever heard him say that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Long Beach, especially since the Corvette is on pole. I'd really like to see Robert Wickens get a win. Oh, we're going to have our work cut out for us. We want to try to get top here. I may get caught up in traffic. Not sure who's in this Dodge Viper. Oh no. Got compromised there.
That's the fastest lap. Nice one.
No. Lost time, man, and killed my exit for the next lap. I messed that up and did not mean to get out. There's more in it, but not this time. Yeah, I really nothing bad to say about yesterday's cast. Just, you know, went well. There was never, for me, there was never a point where it felt boring or I was, you know, thinking of turning away or anything. It was just, yeah, it was good. All involved did a great job. Hey, thanks, Lukey. Good luck to you guys, too. Lukey, which car are you in? Let me see here.
That's P2, mate. Very good driving.
Oh, I should have known.
Remember, we can win this from the front row.
Viper. Oh, AJ edged me out there. Good job, AJ. Can't remember. There we go. Fuel looks good. All right, guys, give me just a second. My gloves on. Good luck, everybody. Let's try to keep it clean. There was a countdown timer for me last race.
You need to nail this start, mate.
Oh, countdown.
Under pressure. Let's take them into the first corner.
Oh. That was weird. I accidentally popped it in first early, but didn't get a penalty. But I didn't really move, I guess. I think that Ford's going to be hard to hold off until my tires get up to temp. It'll be interesting to see if where he's fast. Hopefully I can get my tires up to temp before he catches me here. Oh, okay, he's able to carry much more speed into that than I am. We're all over the place so far. Trying to look for grip. this is gonna be a good one.
Fastest lap of anybody. Great driving, mate.
Hopefully this guy doesn't get involved in front of me. Well, that worked out. I think AJ got by all right. Need 2 good laps here. Sounds good, EJ. I plan on doing some customs after this.
You know what to do.
That was not good for me. Taking the defensive, trying to hold him off until I can get the momentum back. Oh, good race. AJ, good race. I didn't see you when we hit there. I didn't, I was trying to stay tucked in, so sorry if that was my fault on first drive. But that was a great race. Hey, Holland Bass, yeah. I feel like yesterday, Robert Wickens, like last year. Oh, I was totally defending. I got compromised by that car going into like turn 3 or whatever, and you had to run on me. I had to stay tucked in, or you would have just blown past me. Yeah, but what I was saying is Robert Wickens, it just kind of feels like maybe he's going to hit his stride this year in GT3 after seeing qualifying yesterday. At least I hope. Yeah, I'm rooting for him. I like the Corvette, and yeah, it's just a great story. Yeah, AJ, we could possibly do a rematch. Maybe, I don't know that I'll do it because we'll probably have to wait. I plan on doing some custom lobbies after this. Yeah, he just looked comfortable yesterday to run the times he was running. Yeah, we'd have to wait 15 minutes. I don't really want to wait that long. But if we time it right, how long is it in between races? Is it 30 minutes? We could do a custom lobby and then try to jump back in to GTE. If you're going to be around, AJ. No, I mean, that was fun. Yeah, I think that's a tough track to pass on. So if you would have got the jump at the beginning, I would have never gotten around you. We are very similar in pace there. which that's a good sign for GT and their Corvette. And I have to say, I think the Ford GT is much more balanced now than it was before the 2.0 update. In my testing, they seem to be about the same. So what do we want to do? EJ, where are you looking to drive? But I'm gonna. Someone mentioned LMP. Everybody's gonna want to do, or there's gonna be people who want to do GT3. So I'm not gonna do GT3, but I'm gonna add it. I'll start there. Actually, people yell in the comments if you want. Oh, I must have missed it the first time around. Where's? I'm adding LMP. I'm going to do that. I think Chandler, if he's still here, he wanted to do LMP. Where are we going to go? My usual starting spot. I'm gonna give people assist because they'll probably want that. Hey, EJ, we can do that. Hold on, I have to get out. I don't think I have Discord even open on my PC. All right, let me create the server here.
Here he comes. Got another one 3 back.
I do not EJR. I'm guessing I can do it through his Discord. EJ, I may need some help. I'm not familiar with streaming and using Discord together. So I'm going to change my vehicle. Chandler, did you still want to do LMP? The Audi's probably the fastest one and the easiest to drive. I'll set it there just to see if anyone wants to do LMP. Hey, sounds good, EJ. Yep, I've got it open now. Hey, thanks for the sub, rookie. Hey, what's up, EJ? You there?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Can everyone out there hear EJ? All right. So what's going on, man?
Oh, living the dream. Had a late night on Wreckfest last night, I'm not gonna lie, it was very refreshing.
I need to turn the volume up, the headset volume. All right. Say something so I can try to get a...
Testing, microphone test.
Yeah, that's
Testing,
good.
1, 2, 3.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't played Wreckfest. I hear it's good, though.
Oh, you're missing out, man. Wreckfest 2 is just... Honestly, it's... To say it has some of the best driving physics I've, ever seen, and it's Wreckfest, is wild, because... You just, my words are pointless. You just got to try it. You know, obviously the damage model is video gamey because it has to be, or else if it was a real life situation, when you hit one car, you're out of the race. But the actual driving aspect of it is pretty incredible.
Nice. Yeah. I'm not sure if do you play Beam NG at all?
I have BeamNG, but it's another mod friendly, anything that's super mod friendly where you have to, third party install all the fun of the game. I tend to stay away from because simply I'm lazy. I just want to put the game up and play. I don't want to have to buy the game, download the game, and then download more individual parts of the game and configure. I'm good. But it is very well liked.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a little bit of a pain, but the damage on it is kind of like what you were saying, where it doesn't take much and you're completely done.
Yeah. I've dabbled around with what's provided on it, I think BeamNG is more of a simulator than anything else because of the instant death damage model and just overall, it's obviously not nearly as of a racing experience when it comes to completion, but the actual driving experience is very, very much a simulator. Yeah,
that's kind of my getaway. I just jump in it and do some laps or do some of the crazy event or challenges they have. I enjoy that. The force feedback's not the best, though, how it translates the car, the front end.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually pretty wild how good I think everybody needs to try Wreckfest. In fact, I'm gonna be adding Wreckfest just to my weekly rotation. I have to play it at least once a week on stream because it's just fun. There's not a lot of viewership with it because it's PC only right now. It is going to console. It was supposed to go to console by the end of last month, but it's clearly not the end of it's past the end of last month and not out, but it should be soon. It's been out on PC for over a year in early access, so it feels like a complete game. It just needs a few more touches here and there, and then obviously console support. But it's supposed to be crossplay. It's supposed to be parodying this type of crossplay. So we'll see.
Yes, it's like a Forza, but where the damage is okay. Basically, it looks like. Or maybe cleaner.
Have you ever had experience with any level of Demolition Derby, growing up at all or anything like that?
a long time ago, maybe PlayStation. Was there a game?
I meant like real life stuff, like where you got to like you went to a junkyard because we had like our like 20 minutes from me, we had like weekly demolition derby and demolition drags and stuff like that. Where it was Seacon Speedway. It was essentially a very small oval track, and it had an infield and everything too, a figure 8 infield. And essentially, you would go to a junkyard, you would buy a running, junker for cheap money, and you would turn it into an approved demolition derby car, which is really just gutting it and making it safe within a certain rule set for demo. But then they would do the demolition drags, which is essentially, just racing, but in the dirt and in a car that you're going to make contact, and it's not necessarily frowned upon. It's frowned upon to intentionally wreck someone during a race, especially when the grand finale was a demolition derby where the goal was to smash everybody and be last man standing. But anyway, the long-winded point of that was the driving physics in the dirt, because I've done it personally once, and I had a buddy who did it every week, that we would just constantly line up junker cars to build them for it, and I did a lot of spectating with it too, but Wreckfest is so authentic in the driving side of that. Like it brings me right back to it. And I've played a lot of like demolition derby and those types of games like Wreckfest, throughout the years in video games, and they've all felt like video games. This is the first time I've played it where I'm like, holy shit, this reminds me of those demolition drags that I used to do, or at least be around all the time,
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, never experienced that. Growing up, that we didn't have. There was probably something like that around, but mainly it was. My dad used to take us to watch drag racing on Friday nights. Like people could just bring anything off the street, line it up, which I liked. But then there was oval racing, like minor league type stuff. But
did you grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up in Davison County, which is kind of like the center of the state, basically, the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. There's nothing in my immediate vicinity where I'm at right now that's like anything remotely close to a racetrack. There is, I guess, the Kingston drag strip, which is 8 Mile, but from my understanding, it's like a death trap. I've never run down, I've never seen it, but I've driven by it, but I've never been on it to see it.
So
really shitty shutdown area and stuff like that.
We would go to.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Eagles, I can turn my mic up on my end so he doesn't have to do anything when we try. Is this any louder for you, Kenobi? No?
Yeah, that's a little louder. I'm good.
Alright, let's see if that's good enough for the precious Eagles. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say we would go Farmington Dragway, but that's it's like pretty sure I was young, but west of where I grew up, so quite a ways from where I am now.
Yeah. When I grew up in New England, in the area that I was in anyway, it's very condensed. But the good thing about the condensed thing is that everything is close by. A track in another state's 20 minutes away. The other side of the state has a bordering state that's also 20 minutes away. Rhode Island's a very small state, and it makes it very easy to, just get to it. Seeing a lot in a small amount of space.
Yeah, so I guess you grew up around racing quite a bit then. Is that how you got into motorcycles?
So everything, basically yes. Everything just snowballed to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. I'm like speed running different things. Never got a chance to do enough licensed stuff. A lot of circuit racing. That was the next step in life, and then I just financially decided not to, because, well, it's just a lot of work, and to be one person doing it financially, it's a lot harder than, nepotism or being born into racing, because in my entire family, I was the only person that got myself involved with racing. It is not a thing in my family. I do not come from like a racing or, pedigree or heritage like that. Nothing, nada. I've done it all through hobby and friends. But it started with, getting my first car, and then believe it or not, it started like doing hooligan shit with my first car, which is a 1994 Grand Prix. and we would constantly go into like the back roads, the dirt roads, and just Dukes of Hazzard it everywhere. That was our first version of racing. It wasn't really racing, it was just more having a good time. But it was a lot like a very, very, very cheap, broke kid version of rally racing, where we didn't have, you know, professional rally race cars. We just had dirt roads and, you know, $500 junkers, and it would have us just beat the hell out of them. But anyway, it started there, and then it transitioned into, you know, a long-winded run of street racing. But street racing is this weird thing where, like, it can be very much publicized as like this felony hoodlum nonsense, but there's actually a whole lot of it that goes on behind the scenes that's actually extremely professional, to the point where, like, a lot of the events that I've been to that were street events, that were not, like, you know, government sanctioned by anybody, had police there policing it in a professional manner, like allowing us to, you know, set up everything and stuff like that, you know. So I spent a lot of years doing that.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in racing either. And I didn't do sim racing. I think this month is 2 years since I got my first rig, so I'm still fairly new. Yeah,
that's more than me.
Yeah,
that's more than me. I've like pretty much played on a pad or some super cheap wheel, and I basically have always told myself that, like, I can't wait to get into sim racing, but I'm just not ready to financially jump into it because of motorcycles. This is where I have to put my spare change when it comes to money that I want to spend. And then, you know, last year or so, I pretty much called it quits in being directly involved with the racing in terms of me participating. And now I do this because this is, whoop, that Mustang's not moving.
Hey, no worries, Chandler. Chandler had to sit this one out, he said. Had an issue. Yeah, I'm like you. I mean, I've played racing games my whole life, but always on controller.
Yeah. I'm doing this to have a good time. I'm not doing this to be anything worth bragging about ever. This is what I will call my retirement racing. This is, I'm just here for a good time.
Yeah, like I enjoy the competition and making setups and stuff, but yeah, I've never had the dream of thinking I was going to go drive a GT3 car or something in real life.
I think a lot of people have that sort of drive in this to, like, well, this could lead me to an avenue of racing, and I think less people should stop thinking about it that way, because if there's one thing I've learned in life is that your natural talent is going to determine how far you go in something. And day one, the first time you ever try sim racing, you need to be better than most people, and you've never done it before. Those are the people that have a potential future, you know. So I think more people should just look at this as, like, I want to have a good time. This is all just a video game fun for me. And I think we would have more fun. There'd be less of that, like, you know, nonsense elitism type stuff.
Yeah, that, and, you know, people will do anything to win, including be a little dirty.
Yeah.
Kind of ruins it for everybody when they get that way. There's nothing wrong with hard racing, but yeah, you guys probably know what I mean.
All for a good battle. A little bump here and there is, like, that's fine. It is what it is. It's hard to race close quarters with a random person and not have any contact.
Yeah.
But it's the, like, ridiculous contacts where, you know, people just do not hit the brakes and drive into you with 50 miles an hour on top of you and push you off the track, and, you know, that's the stuff that can get a little ridiculous, but...
Or, you know, in LMU, when you get into the higher splits, most of the people, they try to be clean, but there are guys who are very skilled, and they'll line up right at the right spot to kind of spin you. They'll do little things where it's a racing incident, but, you know, it's hard to say, like, it's just one of those things where it just tends to happen too often.
Yep. I don't really think any of the games or sims, whatever, have problems in the higher splits, the higher tiers, but it's really how they manage the lower tiers. Like LMU, I would love to experience some real good racing in LMU. That way I can really, like, attempt to understand the game, but the racing has been so bad for me because I'm in the lower tiers that, like, I'm just not going to do this. Like, I'm struggling on all fronts because the game obviously is designed to not hold your hand in any way, to learn the game itself, the ins and outs of it, the system and everything. And Like, okay, that's fine. I got to struggle. I got to make my mistakes to learn. That's just how the game's designed to teach you. You make mistakes, and that's how you learn. Which is, I'm fine with that, whatever. But then the racing, it's like I can't even get a chance to learn the game because every turn is wreckfest, you know? So...
Yeah, it's... I'll say even when you get to the higher splits, I feel like there's a sweet spot that's not quite the top split. Because when I get in the top split with good people, I'm mid-pack. And that's where it gets really sweaty and it's hard to survive. Usually if you're top 5, then you can outrun the bad drivers, but...
Yeah. My problem is that I like a good... Like, if I don't enjoy driving a car when I'm in the game, I mean, by myself, just doing laps on a track, then there's a good chance I'm probably not going to like the sim regardless of what happens in it, you know? That's like the core thing. I have to enjoy driving the car in the game, you know? And I think a big thing that hurts me in LMU is the lack of sense of speed. iRacing is even worse. You know, you don't know how fast you're going unless you look down at the speedometer, you know?
Yeah, I will say...
Get used to muscle memory.
I need to try it again. But when PMR first came out, maybe it was a month after it came out, I was like, I'm going to compare the hypercars to LMU hypercars. It was before LMU updated the tire model for those cars.
Yep.
And one thing I noticed, I need to go back and see if it's the same, is I was testing at Sebring, and I did PMR first, and then LMU, it felt like I was driving in slow motion when I jumped into it. I couldn't sense the speed at all.
Still the case.
Hey, all right, I'll turn the game volume down after this race. Someone in the chat said it was a little loud.
Yeah, the volume equalizing is a bit of a pain in the ass when doing this. Like, my game's at 50% volume, and even that's probably on the too high side, but I really hate the streams when I am substantially louder than the game because I do want to hear the game. Plus, I typically have the game blasting in my headset, so I'm naturally, like, sort of shouting at the microphone because on my end, it's loud as hell, you know?
No, I'm the same way.
Everybody else is hearing this super muffled game, and I'm just shouting for no reason. So
I feel like that a lot. Like I'm trying to speak way too loud to talk over the game.
Right. But no, I mean, like, until some of these other games start improving the driving experience, it's hard for me to want to play anything but this. And this game is arguably the least polished and complete racing title right now, but yet it's the only one I want to play because of the driving experience.
Yeah, I like the driving experience also.
You know? I'd love to be able to play a game like LMU or iRacing where I don't ever have to look at how many people are playing it or if there's anything open, or I just go in and play and not think about that. That's just not part of the conversation anymore, you know? But bottom line is I don't really very much enjoy the driving, you know, and I also think LMU's doors are a little too closed on what you can and can't do. There's not enough customizability there, which, again, that's a big part for me. I don't care much about the rank thing. I get why people like it, and I get why people want it, and that's cool. But I'm more into just setting up my own race and getting people to do some racing, you know, and you can't do that in LMU, not without spending extra money and dealing with the whole jump through hoops nonsense, so...
Yeah, it's for me. There's a few things that bother me. The major thing is I like the longer hour and a half, hour and 40-minute races, and there's no penalty system. So the likelihood that I survive a multi-class race at Spa or something when it's that long is barely 50% of that, which just kills it because it is an investment to get ready. And you know, I'm not too sweaty, but I spend 30, 40 minutes trying to get ready for it. And a lot of people spend longer than that. But the other thing is certain cars, like the Corvette, in real life has it's one of the better cars on tire wear, but in the game it's the opposite. it's more of a sprint race car and not good in the endurance
When you
races.
say the game, which game are you referring to? This or,
LMU. Yeah,
Okay, well, I
LMU.
figured you were talking about LMU and talking about the endurance stuff because I'm like, I don't think anybody's done an hour and a half racing this yet. But
Yeah. So I'm talking about LMU, and then there's also there's a professional driver I follow that I like. He's raced in GT World Challenge, IMSA, and this year he's going to ELMS, and I don't know what all he's driving. I think he's probably raced since he was very young.
Yep.
But the last few years he's been a professional driver for Corvette, basically. And I happened to catch one of his streams. He had like 4 people watching, so he's not tied to the game or anything else. I think he normally plays iRacing. And he jumps into LMU just to kind of, he's never driven at Barcelona in real life before they went out there for the test and race in that was a week or 2 ago. And I happened to catch it live, and he jumps into the Corvette, and he's a very nice guy, and he's like, there's something about the tire load. There's something that's not right. The Corvette feels much more stable than this in real life. That was like his very first impression.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that. I think everybody thinks LMU is hyper realistic, and it's not.
It comes down to the people. Here's the thing: most people have no idea what is or is not realistic. They're going based off of what they're being told by people that they would say trust their opinion. And unfortunately, a lot of the opinions that you would naturally want to trust, like say people who have done some level of racing, in whatever type of car, that says, oh yeah, this XYZ sim is really good or blah blah blah. Well, they have a financial bias invested into their opinion, which immediately, whenever I see that, if I scroll down into someone's putting out a video and I scroll down into the description and they have affiliate links for things related to the game, everything they say in the video is now a massive grain of salt. I no longer trust that opinion because they have a financial bias, and that's like, dude, iRacing and LMU hand those out like crazy. I mean, it's great. It's great marketing. It's great tactic for growing your game and stuff like that. But at the same time, though, the amount of people that blindly believe another opinion because, oh, well, so-and-so has driven that car and he's a real race car driver and he says it's realistic in this game. So blanketed statement, this game is realistic. Look at this game independently. Like, how many individual cars have a more authentic or better driving experience than, say, some of the other cars, and they might even be in the same class? Do you think this is a specific thing to PMR, or maybe just all of these sims have some cars that are better than other cars in terms of realism and some cars that are way off the mark? Like you just brought up with the Corvette, for example. So like, one person making a statement about the particular car that they drive in real life versus the car that they're driving in that game, doesn't necessarily mean that. Could you mind adding GTs to this? I mean, unless it's like this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is this going to work? I can't find a way to add mods.
Oh, if you didn't add the mods, you have to turn on mods at the start of the lobby.
Will people still be able to play it, or do I have to restart the whole thing?
You'd probably want, if you're going to do High Rock, you'd want to restart the whole lobby. I told them they should have made a damn. They talked about it because I figured it out when they first released it. You can turn this track on and use it, but a bunch of people are going to have connection issues without it being enabled as mods.
All right, guys. Yeah, Chandler P3 didn't even race. Yeah, Howling Brown, I agree. All right, guys, I'm going to back out and recreate a lobby. I didn't know that I had to do it up front, so that's on me.
Yeah, when you create the server, make sure you check off enable mods, and then when you when you're picking like the car track, and then at the bottom where it says mods, make sure you hit the checkbox for High Rock.
All right, so I've got all of that. That looks good. Do we want LMDH, GT3, and GT? You said you wanted GT. Guys, let's we will get out of LMP and do GT, because I imagine most people aren't interested in LMP. All right, that should be good. Yeah, too fast. I agree. I feel like if iRacing, if these games were as realistic as a lot of people would like to think, then why did these racing teams spend so much money building their own simulations and doing all of this crazy stuff? Yeah.
Why does one of the best drivers in the world still play AC1 as his sim for training?
Yeah,
like, that doesn't get talked about enough. All we hear is LMU or iRacing as far as they're the most accurate simulators. Well, why does the guy who's considered one of the world's greatest current drivers, you know, race neither of them, like, religiously? Yeah, he uses them. He has them all. Duh. But the one he goes to, and he's been on record many times about it, is AC1. Which is why guys like Gamer Muscle harp so much on AC1 being, like, the sim. You know? But for me, like, this GT class alone is my connection. Now, obviously not all the cars, but, like, the vets in particular, is my sort of, like, gateway into realism, or being able to judge how realistic this game is compared to, you know, other ones. Like, the other day, I was tossing the C6R around, and I went into a turn in Sebring way too fast, and the rear end it was all oversteer, not understeer. And I came around the bend, you know, pick your favorite drifter, you know, Reese Mill and whoever, and had full control of it the whole time. I was much slower than if I had a proper line, but in real life, you have control of a car past the limit. And that, to me, was like the most authentic, gratifying experience. Whereas, pick your favorite sim, I was past the limit. I was crashing 100% of the time right there, and I didn't. So that, to me, goes a long way, is just being able to control a car, you know, when, like in Wreckfest, I was tossing the clutch, coming into some turns and drifting it sideways the whole time with full control. I'm like, God, why are games making this particular thing that I'm doing right now so, like, it shouldn't be easier in real life, you know? But a lot of the sim stuff makes what you're trying to do in the sim harder. And then they're saying it, oh, well, it's because of X, Y, Z, this car. Listen, LMDHs, I'm sure, are hard to drive at a degree. But as all of us peasants, if we were to get into an LMDH with basic understanding of how to drive them, we would all, I guarantee you, not get the tires warm. We drive them so far under the limit that they could actually drive to, because we would shit our pants before we got to the limit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got some comments here. Best Racing. People are throwing out some crazy taxi. Simpsons hit and run. Yeah. Yeah, I will say one thing that never gets talked about really with LMDH is part of the difficulty, I would imagine, is the stress it puts on your body when you're braking that hard, like, and taking turns at the speed they can take them at. So when you take that away in sim racing, it probably, I wouldn't say would be easy, but be much easier. But yeah, I agree with you. Most sims don't let you go over the limit at all. It's like they gamify. It almost feels like a chore a little bit, which I like PMR because it strikes a good balance. I say the best balance to me, and the only game. So for me, some things I've experienced in real life cars is if your rear end bottoms out and wants to kick out a little bit, or if you go over a really like say a hill that it's like 30 miles an hour, you top it and the car gets really light, and if you do it too fast, the back end will kick out a little bit. The only game that gives me the same feeling I've had when that's happened in real life is Race Room. I feel like the suspension in Race Room is really good.
There's a lot of Race Room is one of those games that I'm constantly bragging about, and like I wish had so much, like, the way everybody talks about iRacing and LMU. I wish, like, Race Room has earned its stripes. It needs to be up in that conversation, and it's just not with the player base.
Yeah,
Race Room is so good.
Yeah, it really is. I wish the force feedback can be really good in some cars, a little numb in others. If you could combine that with Project Motor Racing and the force feedback, that would be a great game. But it's also a game where I feel like you can push the cars pretty hard. I'm going to go ahead and ready up. Yeah.
And the thing, too, is about people is that, you know, in the whole relating difficulty and all this stuff, I think that you need to create difficulty to make the game more competitive. The reality is, you know what game I lose to people the worst in, like by a landslide? is Rennsport. And the cars are the fundamentally easiest to drive across all the sims. But that just means the limit of what you can and can't do with the car is pushed. The ceiling just grew that much further. So if you drive those cars like you would in another sim, the guy in front of you who only plays Rennsport is driving away from you like you're parked, you know? So there's always going to be a skill gap no matter how difficult you make the game. And I've come to the conclusion that, and I've said this a few times now with iRacing, is that they since you can't duplicate fear, which is the biggest thing that will keep you under the limit in real life, they do it through difficulty and punishment. So basically, once you go past the limit in iRacing, that all 4 tires just shut off. They turn into plastic tires and you slide and crash and boom, you lose the race basically. So because there's 0 wiggle room past the limit, that forces you to just naturally want to stay under the limit. So that to me is like the forced difficulty aspect of sim racing that gets a bit exhausting and takes a lot of the fun out of it. Like if I'm so worried about going near that limit because I can't drive the car realistically past it, then it keeps you driving going slow. And I get why they do it. It's, again, there's no fear, which is the main deterrent of driving right up to the limit and finding it. You know, in real life versus video games. In a video game, when you find a limit, you just drive right to it and crash, go, okay, there's the limit, and I'm just going to do it again. And then you try and mitigate where that limit is, and that's it. That's how you find the limit. In real life, you don't approach it by going right to the limit and crashing. You go slowly. You go very, very slow, and you get a little bit faster, and you toe the line on where the limit is. Unless you're guys like Max Verstappen, and then they just go right to the limit because they have a natural talent that they're just born with that. You know, you can learn a lot, but at the end of the day, the guys who have the natural talent and then learn a lot are always going to be better than you.
Oh yeah. And I agree. I do think they make it artificially hard to try to compensate for things. For me, that's one problem. So I did the AC Evo, kind of reviewing the car, you know, just did the whole thing in one shot. And wow, this car is really loud. I'll have to turn the volume down. But so after doing that and having more time to think about it, the car wasn't, it was kind of fun to drive once I had a setup, but under braking, it was just all over the place. And then the curbs in certain places were worse than the bumps in the final turn or turn one. So there's just little things I was like, I wouldn't want to do an hour-long race. Like, it's fun if I'm doing a few laps, but it's too much of a chore to drive, and it needs some stuff worked out.
Did you drive in the Mustang or the 296 yet?
No, I haven't tried those yet.
Those, I was ecstatic when I first heard the Mustang because I'm like, oh my, this is the first time where they nailed the Mustang sound. So all like the Coyote motors, they all have this intake induction sound that is this like, I'm not even gonna try and make sound, it's not worth it. But if you know the Coyote sound and you've heard it before in person, you recognize it immediately the second you turn the car on in the game. And you're like, oh wow, they've done a good job on that Mustang sound. The 296, I don't know what that sounds like in real life, but it sounds really good. Both the cars drive great. There was a lot to it that I really liked. I think, in my opinion, 0.6 on Evo was probably the first update in a long time that was a genuinely, overwhelmingly positive update compared to previous updates where they added stuff, but it really just kind of felt like a whole lot of nothing burger.
Yeah, I didn't even, I think the last one I actually checked out may have been 0.3. I don't know, it was a while ago. It was when they added the BMW GT3. I checked it out at Spa, which it didn't feel that bad from what I remember. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it's still so early, but I'm sure, I think it's going to be a good game.
My thing with AC Evo is that I trust Kunos to eventually get us a really good game. But it's the eventually part that is the deterrent. Like, you know, this is their third game now, and I feel like they're making the same sort of mistakes they made with, like, ACC. And ACC was a one-trick pony. Really good one-trick pony in the end, but it was a one-trick pony that, again, had most of its life be rough, and only really towards the middle and tail end did it really become, like, a really good game. And AC Evo feels sort of like the same thing. Like right now, I don't know what the point of the road cars is in ACE Evo. Like, they all race. Like, sure, if you want to drive them around, maybe you want to drive these cars and it'd be just like a driving simulator, sure, okay, they're there. But, like, trying to race any of the road cars is not going to be fun because they're so unstable. You know, and they're so, and not only are they just unstable, but there's no, like, physics/force feedback predictability in them being, like, in real life, there's a whole lot of things that happen before you lose control of the car that tell you you're losing control of the car, so you should back off. Whereas in the game, the first thing you find out about how you're losing control of the car is the ass is now in front of the nose of the car. Like, well, I guess I'm losing control, you know? But, that being said, though, the GT3s, they did a really good job with. I think they did a really good job with Sebring. I think visually, it's the best looking version of Sebring I've seen so far.
Yeah, the graphics and audio from the GT4 and Sebring were incredible. I thought definitely the highlights.
Yeah, I think eventually that's going to be a really good game to have in the arsenal. I don't know. The problem is I don't think they know what their end game goal is because they keep changing it. You know?
Yeah. It's yeah. I was hoping for a career mode myself. Too fast. You're right.
Same.
I feel like they do have an issue with curbs. ACC, that was one of my gripes with that game. The curbs feel like you're jumping speed bumps every time you touch one. Lukey game crash. Lukey's on PS4. The game has gotten better for him.
PS4?
Or PS5, sorry. PlayStation.
I was going to say, I didn't even know this game had a PS4 license. Whew. Dating yourself there, sir.
Been a lot better since 2.0 for him, though, with connections.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, I've told people many times, I don't think any game, like, dials in their netcode inside of one patch, and it's just good. All the problems went away. It's always every patch where they put a little more time into their netcode, it gets a little bit better, and then in the end game, it's a dialed-in experience, you know?
Yeah, even the games, I want to say, that are probably just iterating on the previous game's netcode still have big issues when they come out, like the Call of Duties or any other.
Yep.
I mean, Forza 8, I don't think it was built from the ground up, and it had major issues.
Definitely not. The marketing team was built from the ground up, and they weren't informed about the actual assets being used, I think. But
yeah,
I mean, you could technically say the same thing for, you know, marketing versus reality in this game too, you know?
Yeah, my guess is they probably had planned to redo a lot of the stuff, and just over time they were like, we're never going to hit our deadlines if we try to do that.
I think deadlines are one of the worst things, and that's unfortunately part of the game when it comes to publisher versus you know, developer, but deadlines are what ruin games, man.
Yeah,
People
it really
need to be able
is.
to take their time, and, like, I know that anything I have to learn software-wise in real life when it comes to, say, tuning, I can't, if you pressure me to learn fast, I'm going to learn slower. I need to be able to rest my brain and take my time and step away from something and not be rushed to get back to it. And, well, unfortunately, time crunches are the polar opposite of that, so...
Yeah, it's pretty much anytime you have a time crunch, you can't really learn. You just have to do things that the best you already know how to do as fast as you can. There's no time to try to explore and do something better or experiment. At least that's been my experience. Wow, the default setup actually, it's a little understeery, but does not feel bad at this track.
What are you in for a car?
The DBR9. It's a really good car. I think it's probably one of the better cars. Probably. Especially with the setup.
I have no idea what the meta cars are in this class. I just know that I like driving the oversteery Corvettes because there's nothing more fun to me than saving a car that's sideways.
Yeah, so this is one group I still haven't updated my setups for. But the DBR9 was probably the best car before the update. The C6R was pretty good also. Yeah, Howling Brown. I agree. The sound of this car is great.
I just love that, like, there'll be times where I'm sideways in this car and I'm like, oh, I'm going to crash because I'm used to driving other cars. And I'm like, oh wait, I can, you know, throttle out of this situation right now and save this. Like this is real driving to me, you know?
Yeah, you can drive these
Like-
cars with the throttle a lot more than some of the more modern stuff.
Yep.
Although
Because
it's
a lot of
funny.
sim racing's
go
tire
ahead.
physics and stuff just would tell you that drifting in real life is also not possible. Because drifting is 100% of the time you are past the limit of the tires. The entire race is past the limit. And according to sim racing, that's really bad and you should be crashing right now. But I don't know, in drifting they seem to pull it off quite well. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you noticed that. So some of
Kurt killed me.
the reviews in the AC Evo, you know, if a car is a little loose, they'll call it playful and they'll use positive language. But those same people, if they experienced that in PMR, would use totally different language.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you picked up on that, but there was a few people who were like, yeah, you didn't put that kind of spin on it when you were reviewing PMR.
Yeah, exactly. There's no doubt there is a looming black cloud over this game right now that I just retired. I not only did I just lose control of the car, but I put myself into a corner that there was no way out of except for let everybody pass and wait until everybody's long gone. So that's that race. Anyway, I was gonna say there's no doubt there's like a looming black cloud over this game, and because that was one of the questions I asked Ryan yesterday on stream was like, when do you think the expiry date is of this like black cloud of where people just stop focusing on things that ships have already sailed on? Like this game should not be, the launch should not be talked about anymore. We are almost 5 months into the life cycle of this game, and it is a massively different experience than it was at launch. And yet, why are people still like I brought it up yesterday's podcast about how before I went live there were a bunch of random channels that I have never seen before, like sub 150 subscriber YouTube channels making videos about the launch of PMR inside of the past couple days. I'm like, why are you guys still making videos about this? This is 5 months ago content. You know, 5 months ago negative content at that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I could say like Forza caught a lot of heat, but I feel like it eventually died down. It was still joked about quite a bit, but it did die down a little bit. Hopefully it does for PMR. So it's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff people still say.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything, all the negative stuff will pass in time, but and like that was a suggestion I made yesterday to the devs, is that maybe instead of trying to do the marketing tactic of going right to the top reviewers, which unfortunately, like one thing I don't like about that business model or that business style is that you are leveraging way too much of your game's success or failure based off of one generic opinion. So like, think of like the Overtakes, the Traxians, the bigger sim race YouTube channels out there. Think of the leverage that they have on the community's thought process with their own opinion. Even if it's the opposite end. This is such a great game. This is the best game. You should go play it. And it's, you know, say not a very good game. And all these people go and do it because of that one person's opinion. Well, in the case of PMR, when they have like a more negatively jaded opinion, you are putting way too much sort of leverage of your game success into a single person's opinion. And like, I'm more of the open opinion of, like, say, like a Rotten Tomatoes style review system where like it's a game of numbers, you know. So send your game out to more people that are smaller, like the people that are going to be more honest, because they're not worried about some random financial bias of like, ooh, if I say what's really on my mind right now, you know, so-and-so might pull out of their sponsorship of me or blah, 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 XYZ. Send it to all the smaller channels out there. Send it to 100 small channels, you know, early access. Then make some 100 review videos. And that way you can tally up the negative reviews versus the positive reviews, generally speaking, and determine a much more balanced version of what the game is. Hey, 70% of the reviewers like the game, 30% don't. Whereas, okay, now we have a ratio to determine where we're at with this game. Whereas, if you send it to, say, just an overtake, and they have an overwhelmingly negative opinion, regardless of what the game is, it's now 100% negative. And now people are going to feed off of that. So
no, I agree. And I'll catch up on chat, but Pedro, yeah, I completely agree with you and EJ. I think Pedro is a long-time subscriber. He says you're spot on.
Appreciate that.
And I think it gets to a point where those big companies are afraid to say something positive too, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? They don't want to be the first to flip.
Oh yeah, 100%. I absolutely. I see it all the time, and like Gamer Muscle is someone that I give long time credit for giving his honest opinions on things, because, for example, he's not making any money pushing AC1. Like, no one's sponsoring him. Like, Kunos is not giving him extra money to sponsor AC1, but then dog AC Evo, their new project. You know, like, that's not a thing. But he's definitely also guilty by association muted, meaning he's just not going to talk about something if it's only going to bring him negative press. So, like in the case of Project Motor Racing, any fun he might have in it, he's just going to be sort of influenced by the group to just be like, meh, not even going to talk positive about it. It's just going to give me, because me talking positive about this game, I get only really negative comments in videos.
Yeah. I'm small, so I get mainly positive, but yeah, there's that occasional guy that just wants to rail on the game in the comments. But yeah, Lukey, I haven't played GT7. I assume it sounds pretty good. Some of the cars in this game are great. What do you, EJ? I know you're a GT7 guy. How does it compare to this with sounds? Probably depends on the car.
So, I mean, the good versus bad part is extremely subjective, because with GT7, they have a lot of good sounds, but they mute out a lot of the ugly noises that come with cars. So, like, I don't think people realize that, like, being inside a car with a helmet on and all the rattles and the sand and the debris and everything that actually happens inside of, like, a stripped out race car sounds really bad. Like, really, really bad. So it's not just like some video game audio where you only hear the good sounds and all the bad sounds just aren't there. So this game, I think, like, I constantly see people talking about the sound in this game being bad. And I'm like, I don't know where that's coming from, because the sound in this is I would still say is too artificial, where they're emphasizing a lot of the good sounds more than the bad sounds, but they have a lot of the bad sounds added to it to give you a more real, like the brake squeal, all the rattles, all the noises that come with race car sounds are present here. In my opinion, you hear the exhaust and the engine sounds probably a bit too loud still. Like, they need to be turned down a little bit more. Now, all of this would be a negative from a game standpoint. People would not like those decisions, but they would be erring more towards realism by doing that. So GT7 does a lot of audio that I would say sounds better than this because it's more pleasant. Less ugly sounds, more positive sounds, you know, or more pleasurable sounds, I should say. Whereas in this, they kind of throw it all at you. Forza, I think, had the most, Forza 8 had the most ugly audio in a sim, or attempted a sim, whatever you want to call it. It was really, really bad. However, I thought it was the most realistic because of how bad it was. So, you know, I tell people all the time, people want realism a lot less than they actually think they do. Because realism is not this, like, fun, you know, it's this scary, ugly, it's a horror movie that you thrive in and have fun with, but it's a horror movie. So, like, if you don't like that aspect of things, you really don't want realism. You want to be told it's realistic and convinced it's realistic, and it be GT7 with good physics, you know? So,
yeah,
I couldn't make a video game, because if you made the most realistic sim ever, everybody would hate it.
Yep. One thing that really surprised me when I started getting into, I guess, sim racing, racing from the cockpit view, all of that, is all the extra noise. I started watching onboards. I was like, wow, all these little creaks and the squeal of the brakes, everything that I don't get from Forza or other games. Yeah, it was kind of a surprise to me. I think maybe ACC was the first one I played that had a little bit of that, if I remember. But yeah, I will say, if you do longer races, it does kind of wear on you. Like in PMR, it is a little loud, but I can turn that down. Yeah. Let's catch up here on some chat. Yeah, Howling Brown, same here. When the squeals, there's too much of it, after some time, it wears on me. Nick, that would be a good question for EJ, probably, depending on your hardware. He knows a lot about PCs. I would say PMR on PC. He's got it on PS5. Should he get it on PC? He just got a PC for sim racing a week ago. It depends on your hardware. If you have really good hardware, then it'll probably be a better experience. But maybe you can list your hardware, and EJ could take a look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I ask, what do you have for hardware? I'll ask you that, and while you answer that question, do you have any idea how many people in video games would hate straight cut gears in real life? Which is like absolutely mandatory in a race car. I mean, every motorcycle has straight cut gears out of the box. And, you know, but motorcycles are sort of, I'm convinced that super sport motorcycles would be illegal right now if they didn't already exist and someone brought them to the table for the production use. They'd be like, are you out of your damn mind? You want to have someone go spend $20,000 to $30,000 and go 200 miles an hour on public roads inside of the blink of an eye? You think that's a good idea? Are you out of your mind? But the reality is those bikes could not do that if they were not full-blown production equivalent race cars out of the box, but with a VIN number, you know? So like, anyway, back to the car thing though, straight cut gears are, you'd have to wear, if you were a regular person and you had straight cut gears, you would likely have to wear earplugs to not be annoyed by the sound of the straight cut gears.
So I'm
purely realistic. Everybody hate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a little bit of a noob on this. So straight cut gears are you talking about where?
No, I can try. I'm not. I was about to put it up on stream, and I'm like, wait, I'm not streaming.
But when I think so, something I didn't even know this existed until probably a few years ago. But there are cars where the transmission is built. You don't use the clutch. You just ram it into the next gear. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Or
no. So, well, I mean, there's all sorts of different, like, for example, you can call that a pro shift transmission where you just rip it to the next gear. But the thing about a pro shift transmission, you can't downshift. You have to stop the car, or that's more of a drag racing application. I mean, you'd have to do 100% of the gear navigation through like rev matching, essentially, which is a lot harder to do when you don't have synchros holding your hand the whole time. So like straight cuts, were you asking about what a straight cut is, or was that just related to? So straight cut is essentially just the design of the gears, the meshing gears. Straight cut gears are quite literally each spline or each tooth, as what I should call it, is straight cut versus angular cut. I'm not sure what I know it's not called angular cuts. Hang on, let me see. Straight cut versus, basically, straight cut is the race prepped gear. The other one is your production style gear.
So basically, much noiser, but probably. I'm thinking less possibility of slip. I don't know if that's the right word than a normal.
Well, for one thing, they're stronger, but they're substantially louder. Substantially louder. See, I'm trying. I want to get you I don't want to just say shit and be horrible at explaining things, so I'd rather just read you the Google Translate version of straight cut gears.
Yeah, Lukey, the fact that we can move the HUD around, that is a nice touch for sure.
So here, this is the Google explanation of what a straight cut gear is. Straight cut gears offer superior power transfer efficiency, eliminate axial thrust loads, and run cooler due to reduced friction. So here, let me see if I can send you this picture. Do you have a way of showing a picture on stream?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have something. Well,
You're out.
maybe not in this
It's not.
profile.
It's entirely
but,
not a big deal. I don't. If you're just saying if you wanted to, you can show. Here, I just messaged it to you. That's actually a website link, but it has the picture of what an angular cut gear is versus a straight cut gear. But straight cut gears are noisy. They are very, very noisy. Less friction, they're stronger, everything about them is better, but again, it's the same way like, a carbon ceramic rotor and a ceramic brake pad is far superior than like an organic race pad. However, the noise, if noise wasn't something that anybody cared about, everything, I shouldn't say everything because it would cost more money to produce, but more things would get made with better shit.
Yeah, that's today's cars. Everything's about comfort. Yeah, I don't know.
The biggest thing about emissions now is noise emissions, not so much smog. Everybody thinks it's smog, and like that's been mitigated so long ago. For the biggest emission right now is noise. How loud something is both on the intake and the exhaust side.
Yeah,
Induction noise is a big thing.
Ruining all the good cars. I'm not sure I've driven GT at this track. If I have, I don't remember.
GT's fun on this track, especially the downhill. Ooh, I'm jealous, Lukey.
Jump out, read the check.
Going grilling.
Hey, sounds good, Lukey. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Yeah, Pedro, you're right. He sent me an image. I was thinking about, when I was thinking angle, I was thinking not the horizontal aspect, but the actual tooth itself. I was thinking something totally different.
Yeah. And then when they say things too like more efficient, what essentially that means is less power robbed through them. Because obviously, like, it doesn't get talked about enough, but like crank horsepower, if you're in motorsports, it's obvious, but if crank horsepower versus wheel horsepower, the difference is all of the power you lose through the entire drivetrain, So crank horsepower is power literally measured at the engine, at the end of the crankshaft. Wheel horsepower has to go through transmission, drive shaft, differential, axles, wheel, and tire, and that's the power that's actually making it down to the ground. So straight cuts mitigate some of that,
Yeah, and that's if you look at the IMSA, like the technical bulletin, how they, the weight of the car, the power, rear wing, they have the BOP basically for a track. Mm-hmm. The percentage of power a car is allowed to have, they'll be very different, and I've always assumed this because it's apples to oranges. Like,
yeah,
I highly doubt all of them make the exact same max horsepower, and they're definitely different at the wheel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm curious what they do to actually measure the power output of the cars, and is it something that's predetermined, or are they because they're not throwing these cars on a chassis dyno before every race to see what they're spinning out for power.
Yeah. So in the race, they have a torque sensor on the rear axle that measures, and they get that throughout the race, so they know that if somebody messes up, and if that sensor stops reporting, you have to pit. Like, you can't race them with that.
That's cool.
Yep.
See, that's the race, like the real race car shit that I don't know about, So that's cool. I like that. Telemetry.
But they don't list like what's the max horsepower. Each of the car, like, I don't know what they make. Like, I know what the Corvette engine naturally makes.
Hush hush.
But because they are using production engine with changes, but it's scaled down. So I think the base Z06 is 690 horsepower or something. And I read somewhere that IMSA power, not at the wheel, but just power, is 600 horsepower. But I highly doubt all of them are just exactly at 600.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's no doubt, like, as they say in motorsports, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, you don't get to a certain age in life and you don't and just stop looking for an advantage in your competition. You're always chasing an advantage, and it really is. All of the rules in some form, in every form of racing, exist because once upon a time someone was breaking that non-existing rule, and so they had to make a rule to stop it from happening. You know, that's why people are starting to hate F1 so much and stuff. You know, more rules, more restrictions, more this, that, and the other thing.
They find a way to bend it and be like, well, technically that's within the rule, or you know what I mean. They're always doing that. Yeah.
Yep. That's where the expression comes from. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, because typically, more times than none, you're technically not cheating. You've just found a way around a rule that allows you to get away with something that gives you an advantage. You know.
Yeah, and they're all looking for that. Hey, how much gas too fast? I'm not sure. I'm going to go with like 6 gallons. I'm guessing it's either 0.7 to 0.9 US gallons per lap, but I'm not sure.
Yep. And like Eagle said back a few comments ago about the straight cut gears screamed more than a toddler. Like it's insane how loud they are too. But they're like, for example, how much the friction matters. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like rem polishing or anything like that. It's essentially like a chemical / bead pressurized sort of like meat grinder. Like you take the individual gears and you throw them in this like
I have an idea of what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like to say specific words here, but it's basically you throw them in this like sort of meat grinder that's just pellets and all sorts of different things, and there's also chemicals in there, and it takes a rough surface and makes it super flat to the point where it looks like a mirror. So I did that once in my Mustang, in one of my Mustangs. I took the ring and pinion and I had them rem polished, and the car picked up, obviously I made no more horsepower at the motor, so I took the same amount of generated horsepower at the crank, and I gained 5 more at the tire through making just the ring and pinion more efficient from a friction standpoint.
Wow.
Didn't change the parts, literally just made the surfaces like baby smooth, you know, or mirror smooth, I should say. And I gained 5 horsepower. You know, so there's a lot of that goes into the drive line. Like that's one of the more fun things to do with race car types. Again, there's penalties to doing all of this stuff, but is taking something that makes fundamentally less power at the motor and making it more efficient has always been a really fun tinkering style of going faster, because obviously you can always just slap more power in something and do it that way, but you know.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of that, especially in like a spec series. They try to get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey Nick, yeah, I do watch motorsports. I'm gonna watch
oh, there goes my race.
Oh, I'm near the back here. I think I am in the back. I plan on watching Long Beach for sure. That's a shorter race, and Imola has become one of my favorite tracks. I'd never really driven it, but I remember until I started playing LMU, and I love that track. I'm so glad it's in this game.
Right. Yeah, I look forward to what every sim brings, but this one in particular, obviously, like it's just again like the driving in this I just like too much. It's so hard to pull myself away from, you know.
Yeah, I like the way
I'd rather deal with the problems that do exist and just drive these cars than go play the games where they don't have those problems, but the cars just don't drive good to me, you know.
Yeah, I like the way they feel in this game, and I'm not just hanging on. I feel like I'm about to spin out every lap.
Yeah.
It's not too easy, but it is. You can get in a rhythm and just keep lapping, which I like. That's more realistic to me. At least I would think it is. But one thing I don't like about LMU is I mainly drive the Corvette. It can feel good at some tracks, but then, like I was saying earlier, at others, it's like you're trying to balance a seesaw that won't balance, like going through the turn. Like you constantly have to like counter steer, normal steer. You're just all over the place the whole race. It just gets old.
Sorry, Scobie one right there. I guess netcode got the better of me there, because on my screen I had room between my bumper and your bumper, and even on radar, and then I made contact, and I'm like, we're not hitting each other on my screen right now, but it's telling me I'm making contact. That's netcode right there.
Hey, what's up, Sharon? I saw your comment earlier. I meant to say something. I'm glad you were able to make it in. You're right in front of me.
Yeah, Pedro, once you get those 15-second penalties, the race is basically over. I'm just doing laps now. Those penalties wouldn't be that bad in like a long endurance race, but these short little sprints, yeah, that 100% last place.
Yeah, it's such a harsh penalty, but I understand why they have to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah.
people would abuse it.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, do you know who qualified where the Corvette was? I'm a Corvette fan. At LMGT3. Oh, my bad, dude. I've tried to get around you. Almost jerked the wheel out of my hand. I would say another thing that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if you were going to the expo, but.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned anything. I thought about asking Giants if they needed help based on yesterday's thing. I don't know if they would be interested in that, but I would be willing to come and help them out if they needed it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I haven't set up anything. We're far enough away. We would have to get, or I assume, if you're going multiple days, you're going to want a room somewhere around Charlotte.
Yeah, we're getting a hotel. And Sim Magic asked me if I want to do a live stream, so I don't really fully know yet what day I'm going to do that on and stuff. And
now,
I definitely
when is it? Is it like a May 20 something? Is it in there?
It's the weekend right around whatever that is. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In like right around May 20. Whatever weekend, whatever days that particular weekend falls on, it's right there.
$11 and $13. All right, thanks, Nick. Yeah, so Sim Magic, yeah, I haven't looked in. It's never even crossed my mind because I'm so small channel-wise.
Dude, honestly,
to be an affiliate, are they trying
aggressive?
Yeah, are they trying to grow in the U.S. basically? Is that?
I'm guessing that's a big part of it. In general, I think they're just wanting to expand their footprint like crazy. Because like the thing is that. You know, you would think, oh, well, they saw the larger subscriber count on my YouTube and were like, oh, it's because they reached out to me. I did not apply. But the reality is they reached out to me through my Instagram. They didn't even know about my YouTube. My Instagram right now has 500 followers on EJR Racing page.
Oh, really?
So that's where they reached out to me, and then they're like, hey, do you have Discord? And I'm like, yes, I do. And I thought I was being scammed at first. I'm like, this seems like random, like way too random. And so I went to Discord and spoke with the person, and then they're like, are you on our main Discord, which I already was, and I said yes I am. Then they created their own. It's annoying. I'm under the influencer section that's hidden. Influencer. I hate that word. I really truly do. But anyway, so there's like a hidden, you have to be in it to see it type section, and it's specific to like I have my own section where it's just me and Sim Magic information. But yeah, it was that easy. Like I didn't do anything to earn it. It was just, they just reached out to me. That was it. I think I had a viral Instagram video that's still going viral that was about the oscillation on my Sim Magic, because I already bought into Sim Magic. That was, I think, a big part of it too. But I had a Sim Magic oscillation video go pretty viral. With I think I had like 30 or so followers on Instagram, and it's in the hundreds of thousands of views right now, and it keeps on going. I still get comments on it every day. I'm like, I don't even understand why this is the video. I never understand this side of social media, but I think that's the video that made them reach out to me. But yeah, no, I would absolutely apply. You know, worst thing they're gonna say is no. but they seem hyper aggressive with that shit.
Where do you apply? Is it just on their website? I haven't looked.
I would say I would actually have to look too. I don't know if they have. I'm sure they do, but if not, I can ask my contact or my handler, as I like to call them, because I'm special and I'm an assassin. But I can ask them what the proper channel to go through for that particular thing would be, because I think you'd be like a perfect person for it. But like I said, they are super hyper aggressive, especially now that they just lost Super GT to Fanatec.
Yeah, I did see that. Is that purely because it doesn't work on console, I guess?
Honestly, I could speculate all sorts of reasons. I don't have an honest answer. The older stuff did with a Sigma Cortex device, which was basically something you plugged in between the USB of the wheelbase and the game console, and then it would just register the SimMagic wheelbase as a Fanatec compliant wheelbase. But that was taken off the market, that Sigma Cortex. So there was all this speculation of, oh well, maybe SimMagic is purchasing it off the market because they plan on licensing PS5 with their wheelbases or something. I haven't heard anything about that. I get slightly early access to new release and information like that. I've heard nothing about that, so that is purely speculation at this point. But as of right now, like, my wheelbase cannot be used on PS5, which is why I have an RS50 as well.
Now, how different is it from your RS50? Or you're a Logitech guy, so I'm just curious. I have the G Pro wheel.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty big difference?
I had a G Pro before going to the SimMagic stuff, and it's hard to explain. Like, oh, that guy's backwards. He was like basically doing my speed, but in reverse. What was I gonna say? Like, I think I like the Logitech stuff. I've always liked the Logitech stuff. But as far as immersion and realism and just overall, I feel like I'm using real hardware. They don't compare. The SimMagic line of stuff is much more.
Yeah,
my H pattern feels like a real H pattern. My wheels feel like real wheels.
But you have like a real GT or GT4 wheel. Like what? It looks exactly like what you would
wheel,
really have in a real car, like their SimMagic.
Yeah.
I've seen their GT wheel or whatever. It's all the knobs and stuff. I don't have all of that on my wheel.
Yeah. It's not something that's ever going to make you better at any level of racing. But it's just going to make the experience better. Like when I like using my RS50, but I can tell you, like this, for example, there's no True Force, there's nothing like that built into this lineup. However, everything is so advanced that just turning up the vibration in this game feels like True Force on a Logitech, but it's not True Force, it's just in-game vibrations. But it handles it so well, whereas Logitech in this game feels very numb because of lack of True Force. Like, Logitech really needs True Force compliance to really bring out the curbs and things like that. Whereas, like, all of the other stuff just sort of kind of has it naturally.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had a problem with oscillations in this game on my Logitech for a long time. It wasn't until the new tire model that I could just run the default force feedback settings and feel okay.
So ironically, I run filter at 1, so minimum, and the damper at 100% for this game, and with my RS50, to get the wheel to feel the way I sort of want it. Because obviously I run the filter at 1 to get all of the detail, all the graininess, as much of it as possible, because I'm running the damper at 100% to mitigate the oscillations. Because the reality of it is that I could make this wheel oscillate like crazy through the SimMagic software because I have control over it. On Logitech, you do not have control over that oscillation. They really need to add that slider so you can, min-max it. Because right now, by default, it feels like it's maxed. So the wheel just naturally wants to oscillate. I let go of my wheel with 28 Newton meters on it, the wheel stays straight.
Yeah,
You know?
mine does not on the
Exactly.
Logitech. Yep.
And it's because it's baked into their firmware where you just cannot control, you don't have any slider to control the oscillations. Because the oscillations, it's an artificial force feedback that's happening to, from my understanding, help you navigate G-forces, like lateral G-forces, but that's not, to me, a realistic sensation that should ever come through a wheel. G-forces are felt through your body, not the wheel. So I don't want my wheel to do unauthentic things to tell me that I'm in a sim. Like, if my wheel has to snap back and forth to tell me that I'm facing G-forces or whatever no, I don't care. You know, I'm not 100% if it's G-forces, by the way. I've heard that from like a reliable force feedback source. But either way, I set up my wheel to do what a real car's wheel is going to do.
Yeah.
I have never been in a car, at least not without that needed a massive alignment, where the wheel would move back and forth on its own in a straight line on a smooth road.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was
just
always
doesn't happen.
Yeah, that was always like my biggest complaint. Because initially in the FPP program, we didn't have all of the dials for force feedback. So it was really hard for me to drive certain cars because my wheel, it was almost unbearable at some car and track combinations, the oscillations. Yeah. Hey, sounds good, Pedro. Have fun, buddy. Was it Monk? Oh, that's cool. You're watching Indy and us. Well, we appreciate you being here. Yeah, Nick, I find the vet, it's just not a great experience in LMU. It can feel a little different depending on the track, but even with a good setup, it's just, I don't know, not my preferred Corvette experience.
GT3, obviously we're talking about LMU, so
yeah, it's like I was saying, I feel like if you drop Barcelona, it's not as bad in some other tracks. You can feel it at Spa a little bit too, but like take the latest version LMU, and I've tried a good esports setup or the default setup. The way it drives just feels, it doesn't feel stable. Like you're battling the car throughout the lap. It's I don't know. I just don't enjoy it.
That's the biggest thing is play what you enjoy. Get over this like, oh, this is realistic. Who cares? None of it's realistic. Except that it's all fake. It's all pixels on a screen. Play what tells your brain that this is the most realistic. Whatever that is that you enjoy the most, that's what you should play. You know? If LMU is your jam, play the shit out of LMU. I will never argue to take something away from someone. But just don't tell me I'm wrong when I say I don't like something. You know? Like,
yeah. I enjoyed LMU to begin with. I feel like some of the stuff has gotten worse over the updates.
It for sure has, for sure. There's definitely been times where I've driven, because I've had LMU the whole time and I've tried every update, and I haven't really put any time into it because, again, I don't like being told what to do in a game. Like I can only do these couple things or I can't do anything, so I'm just gonna go do something else. Like that's where I think, like for me, customs would be fantastic in LMU because, all right, now I get to really spend a little bit of time in this game my way. I get to pick the track, pick the circumstances, get everybody involved. You know, I don't want to have to pay to rent a server and go through all that nonsense. I'm just good with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to pay custom liveries. It's just not
That's
fun.
what I'm telling you. And people like there are lots of good things that LMU does. I'll ask what you got to ask, but that way I don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, what classes do we want? So I'm assuming Group C and Evo. So I'm going to change mine to Group C. Actually, what do I want to drive? I will go GT3. I don't know if can I change my car class? Like if I set this up, is it gonna mess everyone up? Basically,
they did fix it. So pick your cars in the setup screen and then go to change vehicle on your own, and it shouldn't affect anything anymore. I did notice that recently that doesn't work like it used to. Where
So if I
you
go from
change your
GT,
vehicle,
if I went GT3 to say NGT, the GT3 would still stay available for everyone else.
correct? Yes, it used to
alright.
be that if you changed your class by picking a different class of car in change vehicle, everybody would switch over to that vehicle, and it was super annoying.
Hey Nick, sorry. Nope, it's not private. You can join in. Thanks, Eagles. All right, well that's good to know because I was kind of worried about doing that. Let's keep it at that.
What do we think is going to be a cool name for these cars moving forward? I don't know if you heard about the drama yesterday. That's just
No, I've been so I've outside of your stream.
well, really
Hardly
wasn't
looked
talked
at
about in my
anything on
stream.
YouTube or PMR Discord. I've just been out of the loop for like a week.
That's the best way to do things, in my opinion. Just being honest with you, stay out of the loop, the information loop of everything in life.
Like
Stay away from it.
I didn't know there had been a survey and all this stuff until Ryan mentioned it in your stream yesterday because I just hadn't been on there.
Yeah.
But
Basically,
yeah, go ahead.
people have been spamming and talking about because I don't know if you notice, but if you go to the store, you know the GT500s are not there right now.
What to buy just the individual pack?
Yeah, like if you wanted to buy the GT500s right now, you can't. If you haven't owned them yet, you can't buy them. Speaking of which, I think I'm actually going to get in an Evo right now. I haven't been in one in a while. In a minute.
No problem, Detour. So it's either you buy the season pass, or
well, no, you can't. At this very juncture, you cannot get one of them. And there's been because of that, there's been all sorts of rumor going around and speculating as to why, and they're taking them away, and people are going to start demanding refunds, and because just the way the internet works. I mean, admittedly, like, I do think Straightforward needs to get ahead of a lot of their problems verbally, rather than letting the speculation happen, because I think they should have learned by now that there is such a looming cloud over this game that you give a few seconds for speculation, it's going to grow rumors quickly. You know, negative rumors, of course, never positive. But
are we good?
I'm not going to say
quick.
I know exactly.
Are we good to ready up, guys? I'm going to ready up, I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Yes,
no, you're good. This is your show. I'm just.
No.
You know, tell me to shut up and I'll shut up.
No, you're good. Yeah, I didn't know that was going on. So I could see where people would just run with that though.
Yeah,
it's always good to get out front stuff. It really rubbed me the wrong way when Forza had the layoffs, and then they never came out and said anything. They could have just come out and said, "Look, we're going to be moving to focus and help get Forza 6 out. We're not sure if we're going to be adding more content or not to Forza." They could have just said something like that, but they didn't say anything. I'm like, so that, but yeah, Straightforward. If that is happening, hopefully they'll say something.
I mean, Rise already put in the Discord basically that they'll wait for an official announcement on what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
It's not nearly as big a deal as people are trying to spiral it out of control. But the cars are temporarily removed from the game. You can still use them in customs and stuff, but there's no ranked races anymore for them. You can't get them in the store. So, I mean, I think you could probably use your imagination as to why that might be.
Yeah, I know very little about this. My first thought is they're trying to negotiate a license extension or something, maybe. But
it has. I'll basically, like, I mean, again, I'm not like I'm in the politics of any of this, but it's essentially licensing. So what you'll probably see is a name change. Like, if you go play AMS2 or any of these games, like, look at the 360. I referenced it last night when I was playing Wreckfest. The 360 Modena in AMS2, the Ferrari 360 Modena, is called a Milano, like the cookie. It's a name difference, but it's the one-for-one car, you know. But licensing.
Yeah, and I don't really care. I know some people care. I don't care about the track names and stuff.
I couldn't give a shit. I understand the enjoyment of feeling like you're in the real license thing, but that is like such a marketing tool when they hit you with the licensing of like officially licensed. Motherfucker, anybody who's like professional is using that, you know, 6 or 7 figure $1 million whatever simulator that they have internally for their own training. You think anybody in Formula One is truly using any of these games as like practice sim? They're doing it on the side. That's fun and entertaining, but that's about where it ends. They have their own sims for that.
Yeah, I didn't know this until recently, but there's a lot of teams that are, I don't know if it's headquarters, but have a place in like the Concord, Charlotte area. There's several teams. Pratt Miller, like the Corvette GT3, like IMSA, big team. I think they have an office there because I've seen jobs based around simulations and stuff. So they're doing something on their own.
Yeah, like I'm a huge fan of this sim stuff. Like it's a lot of fun, but there is no doubt a bunch of marketing designed to fool people, to just get people to buy their product. And it's, you know, and it's this like false narrative of like, I'm gonna be a professional if I do this, you know. And there's a lot of people that fall into that, like, this is my opportunity. And for some people, and I mean the 0.000000001% of the population, that might be a thing. But for most of us, we're just gonna play another video game. So chill out.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and I don't think people realize Straight 4 is a small studio. I would rather have more content than them spend
they said on
resources on license. Yeah.
So I feel like I can now publicly say that they have 40 employees.
Hey, what's up, Ruthless? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's what they said on stream anyway, multiple times. They're a team of 40 people, and that is not just developers. That is the team. So, you know, I feel like they should be far more transparent about how big they are. I feel like it's only going to help them.
Yeah, I want to say before the layoffs, they were maybe, based on articles I'd seen and stuff, probably around 72 people.
Yeah.
Or something. They were still really small.
I really feel like telling the world how being more transparent about their studio and how big it is, or small it is in this case, would really do them a lot of goodwill, because it's like, yeah, we're building this game and developing this game, and there's only 40 of us total. Like, the amount of people that are coming out of Gran Turismo 7 or Forza and playing this, and they're wondering why it's missing some things that those games have. It's like, yeah, they're not Microsoft. They're not Polyphony. They do not have the staff or the money, the funding to do this stuff, you know? So yeah, they're fundamentally going to be a smaller game, even if they're successful, you know?
Yeah, I want to say for Forza Motorsport, I can't remember exactly, but it was like 200 people or over 200 people that worked on that game until they had layoffs. It was a lot.
Yep. I don't think people realize how, like, if you have 200 people doing the same thing that 40 people are doing, I mean, each person's doing, you know, 5 times the amount of work that one member of Straight 4 has to handle 5 times the workload of what one person is doing at, say, Forza. You know, I mean, Sora is pretty vocal and pretty, you know, involved in the community side of things, and at least from like the YouTube stuff. And the man doesn't sleep. He averages 3 hours of sleep a night. The rest of the time is just working on this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's everywhere.
Like imagine sleeping for 3 hours and working and never taking personal time, and people just chewing you out how you suck and you're not doing enough. Like, to me, it's so wild how just people have grown to be so entitled throughout time, and they feel like they are the ones in the right with that entitlement.
Yeah, and it's all over the place. Hey, what's up, Mike?
I do agree. I do think they need to pick their identity. I don't think it's as important as a lot of people think, but from a development standpoint, in a direction, I do think they need to be like, all right, this is what we're going for. This is what we want to do. I think that they've already kind of found their comfort zone. They just need to lean into it, and that is, this is a driving simulator that uses racing to deliver the driving, whereas LMU is a racing simulator that sort of does some driving to simulate the racing side of things. And by racing, I mean the structure. All of the unenjoyable side of racing is in that game, you know, to simulate racing. Because everybody thinks racing is just, oh, I teleported to my race car, I'm doing laps, and now I teleported out of my car. Like, that's not really racing. You know, you spend an entire weekend at an event for a couple-hour race, preparing, and then cooling down, and all of these things surrounding the race. I don't want to experience that in my video game. Now, I know some do. I know some do. If that means I'm not a hardcore sim racer, then I'm happy to admit I am not a hardcore sim racer. I'm a guy who just wants to do some racing. But I think this game personally should lean into, we want the most authentic driving experience through racing, and then to somewhat hold your hand through the setting up of the racing style of things. So like the more casual side of things, where it's like, hey, custom lobbies, do what you want. We're not going to tell you what you can and can't do. You know, like for me, I think AMS2, not AMS2, Race Room is the perfect simulation. There's obviously a lot of things in it that could be changed, but its direction, what it wants to be, is perfectly grounded, perfectly identified. This is exactly what I want in a game. Race Room. You know?
Yeah, I like it, and it feels, to me, it feels realistic. Let me answer real quick. By the way, too fast, great lap. I'm going to go with 5.9 gallons for me. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but yeah, I'm a big Race Room fan. It's funny, I haven't put a lot of time in Race Room. I don't play online a lot. I use it as my go jump in and compare it. Like, hey, I'm going to drive the same car at the same track in Race Room and see how PMR or whatever compares.
Same. I do very much enjoy it. Unfortunately, it's, you know, as the way that looming dark cloud makes you think that this game is not popular, AMS2 and Race Room are far less popular. It's like, it's so hard to get into a ranked race and Race Room that has, I have had more experiences in Race Room with nobody in my lobby in ranked than PMR.
Yeah, that's been my experience too. The few times I did race, it was very small, except for MX5. I had 2 splits in an MX5 race once.
But, you know, if anybody ever has access to Race Room and they ever want to know what my ideal video game identity racing experience would be, it's Race Room. You know, I think there's things that Race Room could absolutely do better. Like, I like the driving better in PMR and stuff like that. But Race Room, in my opinion, it's, as far as its identity, is like my ideal game. Exactly what I want out of a game. The ability to host your own lobbies through creating a server, by the way, with a server app, but it's free, so I'm fine with that. And what was I going to say? You know, I don't necessarily mind their monetization system. It's like iRacing, but it's cheaper and doesn't have the I fucking lost it. Pardon my French. I don't know how you choose your language on your streams, but
You're good. Yeah, no, they do a good job. I like the way the cars, for the most part, there's always a difference between how they handle compared to the force feedback, but I feel like the suspension, the way it works in that game, is very good.
Yeah.
I like PMR also. I feel like Race Room's a little bit better at that, though.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Race Room's been around for 13 years.
Yeah, it's very polished.
Since 2013. Yeah, so 13 years. That time they've had their game cannot be ignored when comparing it to a game like this. It cannot be ignored. But, like, I think, I don't know if Race Room's ever going to be popular. That's the thing. It's just always been in the shadow of iRacing. But 100% to me is a better game than iRacing. Like, they don't even compare. iRacing is just big. You know, so in that regard, yes, iRacing is still the monopolized sim racing game. LMU doesn't hold a candle to iRacing's player base. Like, it's crazy how big iRacing really is. But that being said, I think Race Room is an overall better experience through and through.
Yeah, I've never understood. So some of the things I don't like about Race Room is that there's no, well, let me get through this turn. Like the track rubber's not dynamic. So it doesn't have some of the modern features I would like.
Yes.
But overall, it's such a good experience. Once I played it, which, you know, I didn't play it for the first time until a few months ago, I was like, how is this not popular?
That's my point. It actually like makes me, like, as much as I like defend this game, I want to defend Race Room more because they've earned their keep. This game, in my opinion, it's getting there, but it hasn't earned its place yet, you know? But Race Room has more than earned it, and yet nobody plays it, and it makes me kind of sad. But, and the same goes for AMS2, but AMS2 to me is much more of a overall casual experience. It's just a content whore of all the things, anything you want to do, it's there. There's no real ranked experience or anything like that. It's just get in and have fun, enjoy it. So I'm much less against that game's lack of popularity by comparison to Race Room. Race Room, I think, it does need more. Like, I'm glad the most recent update finally fixed the stupid steering ratio issues. Like, that was like the most annoying thing about the game, was that every car you got in, you would have to change on your wheelbase your steering ratio. Whereas they now fixed it. Now it's all automated. It's always 1-to-1, which is thank you. But I don't think Race Room's ever gonna be as popular as it should be. But they definitely have some features and updates they need to make, and I'm sure they'll make them throughout time. But that being said, if you told me right now, hey, let's go play some Race Room, I'd be like, okay, I'm down. You know, but there go your viewers. There go all the participators. You know.
Yeah, Mike, I agree. PMR is still a baby. I've said this before in the past. I would love for PMR to be kind of like the cross-platform Race Room at some point. Mm-hmm. Like very similar, like a more modern version that's cross-platform.
Yep.
I will say I like the force feedback in PMR. Even though I'm on Logitech and it doesn't have true force, it still feels good.
Yeah. When it does get true force, though, I'm telling you, you're going to be in for a treat, man. Because I just know, like, I mean, bottom line is go play ACC or Gran Turismo 7. Turn true force on and off. You know, I didn't realize how good true force was until I tried turning it off one day, and I'm like, oh my god, this feels terrible. Like, where did all of my detail go? Everything's gone. You don't realize how much is driven through audio. All your haptic, everything about it. So much is driven through audio.
Hey Nick, I'm on the Logitech G Pro. My version works with Xbox and PC.
In my opinion, I don't know if you don't mind if I answer some questions that I see in chat.
Nope, because I have a hard time reading chat sometimes while I'm racing.
Yeah, I'm not taking this very seriously, so I'm just driving around the track. I'm in last place, so. I personally think PMR should lean into the Race Room AMS2 type experience, where go for, like I said, go for a very, very, very authentic driving experience. You know, all the cars drive incredible, things like that. Make people want to drive the cars first, and then chase obviously the rank system needs a lot of work, no doubt. Keep developing the rank system, making the ranked desirable to want to play for everybody, and then, you know, really focus on massive customizable lobbies, things like that. Thrive through leagues, that kind of thing. Like I know people, it's never going to be better at iRacing than iRacing. It's never going to be better at LMU than LMU. So don't try that. Do your own thing, you know? Be unique, be original. Be proactive, not reactive, you know? And I think this game has a very prominent future if it just leans into what it is and focus on it being a driving simulator that's done through a racing experience, you know? Because again, that's what I have access to every title. I have stupid amounts of money put into every title, and yet I find myself playing PMR on and off stream because I enjoy the driving.
Yeah, so Mike, to answer your question, my understanding is for the Logitech G Pro, the PlayStation version, the chip that makes it compatible with PlayStation is in the wheelbase. For Xbox, the chip is in the wheel. So if you got a PlayStation wheelbase that supports PlayStation and PC, and then bought a wheel that's compatible with Xbox, you could be compatible across all three. I would double check me on that, but I think that's how it works.
You can. So just buy the PlayStation wheelbase and buy the Xbox compatible RS hub or the Xbox compatible GTD wheel, and you have access to everything.
Yeah, so if that's important to you, and I would say the Logitech G Pro, I'm not sure what all supports this cross-platform like that, but it's a good option. I like it.
I'm a big Logitech fan. Like, if you're not sure what to get, I will always recommend Logitech first. Between compatibility, just overall quality, like it's a great starter and end game gear rig, or gear, whatever you want to call it, kit. Like, you could use it as a gateway, direct drive, or you could use it as an end game, and you're going to be pretty happy either way. You know, there's a reason why I had a G Pro, then I got into SimMagic, which I do like the SimMagic stuff better because of its more, I guess, authentic feel. But I bought my RS50 after having the SimMagic stuff because I missed being part of the Logitech ecosystem where it was quality that I could do whatever I want with, you know? I'm actually a big fan of the RS50. I think that's like, it makes me look forward to like a G Pro revision where they update the higher tier, like maybe like a 15 Newton meter direct drive base that's got, because the RS50 has a lot of newer tech that the G Pro doesn't. Like, for example, you have an actual lockout in terms of steering ratio on the G Pro. Like, if you turn the wheelbase off and spin the wheel, it's got a mechanical lock, or max, I should say. Whereas on the RS50, on SimMagic, on all the newer technology bases, they're free spin. You just spin around in circles forever and ever and ever and ever. It's almost like it throws out a kickstand for the actual lockout in game. But yeah, I'm a big RS50 fan. That's one of my top recommends for people who don't know what they want. Get an RS50.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I actually haven't driven anything except what I own. It's the only wheel I've ever used. I got lucky. Just did a quick look into it and was like, you know what? That looks good. The playseat trophy, it looks like something I can put together without taking days to put together. So I'm going with that, and it worked out.
That's what you have, the trophy?
Yep.
So you have my first, like, I want to say major rig, but my first, like, try-hard rig, which is the G Pro and then the playseat trophy. And you know what? I miss it. It's such a good experience. It really is. I love the trophy. Like, it's the perfect, like, lightweight but rigid. I don't know how committed I am to this sim racing thing. It's get the trophy, because it's, you just pick it up and move it, you know, get it out of the way. But then you get inside it and you're like, this is extremely comfortable. It's compact but spatial at the same, like, I feel like I'm selling a car right now. But like, I'm a huge playseat trophy fan. I'm a huge playseat fan.
Yeah, I do not regret my buy at all. I'm very lucky that I kind of got it right the first time. Or at least for me. Oh, good race. I thought too fast. I got lucky. I had a better start and I was able to hold him off.
Yeah, you can tell I'm dead last, both finish and lap time. I'm just in the back, just driving around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I didn't have a setup for this track, but I was definitely trying this race. The other races, it was harder. It's hard to read chat and be competitive sometimes.
No. Stop lying. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Mike, I don't. I've had to adjust that little lower back strap to get it right, but once I got it right, I don't really have a lower back soreness. But yeah, I think I could see where that would be the case. Sitting in a rig for a long time is not the most comfortable place to be. No worries, Locke. No worries. Yeah, Too Fast. I love Sebring also. All right, where do we want to go next? I like San Marino. I'm not sure what other people think of.
Down for whatever. I don't care. I'll even do Interlagos, even though I hate that track.
Oh, somebody said Daytona. That's a good call. I don't have a Daytona setup in GT3, but that's all right.
I don't have a setup. Like a single setup.
Yeah. So for some, like GT3 is really the only class where I have, for some tracks, I already have a decent setup made for it. I saved that. Yep, we're good. All right, guys. I'll leave you with EJ. I need to go visit the bathroom real quick. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Hi. I just got tagged in. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan and I were talking about doing that for over a month or so, but he wanted to wait for 2.0 to launch and the game to just be in somewhat of a better, or have better sentiment before we did the podcast. Yeah, no, it was. I'm hoping it didn't feel like a waste of time to people, where it was just more of the same stuff being talked about. I'm hoping people got something out of it, because obviously I had my own lineup of questions that I kind of wanted to add that I feel like weren't necessarily questions that were primarily for me, but they were some for me and some for other people that I feel like needed to be addressed. But hopefully people got some answers out of it that they wanted. Because I actually, prior to this sim racing thing, journey, whatever you want to call it, that I've been on, I used to have a motorcycle podcast. I deleted all of them off YouTube, but I had well over 100 of them. And it used to be something I really liked doing, and I would like to continue doing them. But the biggest thing is I need scheduling. It's a lot harder to do than people think it is from a scheduling standpoint. So if one of those things where people want to see things like that, I'll happily do them. But one thing I can say, that having done it in the past, it will be more than one topic. So it's not going to be a sim racing podcast. It's going to be a racing podcast, where it will be, hey, I've got John Force on here today. Obviously that's not going to happen for multiple reasons. I have this guy who races jet skis, this guy who races planes, this guy who races Formula One, whatever the hell it is, a general racing podcast mixed up with different guests. Once a week would be the ideal, perfect sort of structure, but once a week is actually very hard to do. You just need a lineup of guests that don't pull out.
Guys, think I'm gonna ready up.
Nick, I would say that's more than enough computer to run the game. I mean, the next question I want to ask is what resolution are you going to be playing at? If you're at 4K, you're going to tax a lot of that relatively quickly. But if you're at 1440p or 1080p, you've got plenty of hardware to play with the settings. The one thing that could make or break you is all of the bloatware and all the software behind the scenes on your computer that has absolutely nothing to do with the game that could be eating up resources that the game needs. Speaking of which, that was something that was talked about in yesterday's podcast, is the MDI, which I don't remember what that's an acronym for. I'll be lying to you if I forgot. I've had the opportunity to test it out prior, and I haven't tested it on console because I mean, it's a lot harder to test things, and you actually need a full build. But whereas on PC, it's a lot easier to test things independently. But basically, MDI is their next. It's going to be in there, or they're hoping is in there. They seemed pretty confident in the podcast if you watch it, that it will be in the next update for the game, where MDI is what they need implemented to leverage the GPU more so than the CPU, so they can implement things like bigger card grids on console, VR for PC players, like all of these desired features that people want in the game. They need to fix the main problem to implement those things, because they've said many times in the past, VR is actually really, really easy to do. I have personally no idea how hard or easy that is to do. I'm just saying what they said. They've said that VR is easy to do. It's all the things in the way that they need to fix first to implement VR properly. The biggest one is CPU utilization, where a lot of this game is leveraging the CPUs of computers and consoles before leveraging the GPU, and you always want to leverage the GPU 100%. You want to use 100% of your GPU power before you outsource anything to the CPU, because it's just better at it. So anyway, the next MDI update, or next update that has MDI in it, which will be across consoles and everything, is going to better leverage the hardware. So, you know, the overall experience should be a lot better, even like, especially on, like, say, a lower end computer or on a console. Like, for example, I'm on a higher end computer, and even I saw some benefits from it, where, like, if I stack the grid with 32 cars prior, you would see my GPU utilization drop to like 70%. I'd still be getting a good frame rate, but it's CPU bottlenecking is what it would be called. And with the MDI stuff, my GPU sits at 100% and my frame rate goes up by 15-20%, and I'm playing on the exact same graphical settings. So now that's only with the cars, with a full grid of 32 cars, because the AI in this game directly leverages the CPU. So for me, where I would get a CPU, I would generate a CPU bottleneck, was a full grid of AI cars. Whereas console players or lower end PC players might experience a CPU bottleneck without the AI being involved, where MDI is just overall going to make the experience better. So that's coming in the next update, or so they said. So that will be nice to have, and that will, again, where I was going with that, Nick, is that will make, say, your 5700X, it will now fully utilize your 9060 XT before taxing your CPU and giving you a CPU bottleneck. Basically, your stuff will work better. That's the very short version.
I need to jump in and change my gear in here. Yeah, I saw in the Giants program we had access to that, but I haven't had a chance to try it out yet.
Yeah, because like I would like to test it on it, because it's really more beneficial to like lower tier PCs or console players, which, I mean, respectfully to console players, is basically lower tier PCs right now. You know, and then when the next cycle of consoles come out, consoles will be more like mid-tier PCs, and then as time goes on, they'll fall back. That's just like the cycle of how consoles work. But anyway, point is that tech will be a lot better for lower tier PCs or consoles, a lot more effective.
Yeah, and that gets me into, I hear people talk about like a sequel to this game or something, which I think I would hope is a long ways off. But I feel like that makes sense when the minimum spec for the sequel is next generation consoles that aren't out yet. I have a question for you guys. I was thinking, you know how LMU does the driver swap races, but they're always like 4 to 12 hours, really long. And I feel like that's kind of a newness thing. The average person doesn't want to do a 4-hour race, or at least I don't want to do that on a regular basis anyways. But I feel like the driver swap thing would be kind of cool if you could condense that into a 30, 40-minute race with just have the tire wear or fuel or both exaggerated so that the other person has to have a pit stop. I don't know. I'm just curious what other people think about cooperative type stuff.
I think it would be awesome. I mean, it's you know, I'm one of those, I'm greedy, but also trying to stay grounded. Where like, I want it all. Give us everything you can possibly think of. Give us every feature. But again, they're a staff of 40, one thing at a time. What's the priorities, you know?
Yeah, I guess I say that and thinking it like, I'm not sure. I think the last DLC this year is the Endurance Pack, and I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's out there. But
well, they did mention in stream some outsourcing of other companies from a modding standpoint to create other things for the game outside of their scope. So, you know, not necessarily straightforward developer employees making things for the game, but modders essentially. The financial side of that, I don't know. It's not my business whether they're paid employees or they're just people, you know, interning or donating, whatever you'd want to call it, to the cause. But they are, from my understanding, using potential third-party sources to create additional content through modding. What that is, I have no idea. But from my understanding, based on what they were saying, it sounds like they do have that lined up.
No time was set. We'll be starting from the back of the grid. We're going to have to pass a lot of cars to get some points.
Oh, we got Sir Silver in here. I'm not sure if he's in chat. Yeah, what was it, Mike? Yeah, Mike, I view the longer 4-hour or longer driver swap events, to me, that's like a special event you do 4 or 5 times a year. But the shorter 30 to 40-minute race where you do a driver swap, each player gets, you know, roughly half the time, a little bit of overlap there. I just think that would be fun, but you would have to have a way to pair up random people who don't have a buddy to play with, and that, who knows how that would go.
I can tell you that I'm all for that, not to play it, to watch it. I tend to want to watch things that are related to things that I'm involved with more so than things that I have no involvement with. So if there's a real, you know, driver swap 12-hour race going on versus, or whatever, 24-hour, whatever you want to have, versus the video game that I'm spending a lot of time playing in, and it's people that I actually may talk to or know in some semblance of real life, I'm going to watch the video game version of it more so than the real life version of it, because I'm involved with that one. That's just how I am. So I'm all for that from a watching standpoint.
Yeah, I like it when they kind of mimic what's going on in real life, but usually a shorter version of it. So like watching the racing makes me want to go drive in the sim rig kind of thing. And I want to drive at the track they're driving at. Trying to stay wide here, people. Oh. But I was just like, to me, the stuff that LMU does is so long. And I'm like, yeah, people like that, but I feel like there's a newness factor to it that'll wear off. I agree with that. I just can't believe people are going to want to do those really long races on a weekly basis.
Yeah. I think LMU is really, really, really going to have to focus on expansion and features for the future that bring in a more casual player base. Because if they stick to this like super diehard thing, like you said, that newness is going to wear off. And guess what? iRacing's still going to be king.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely earn they're going to need to mix things up at some point.
Yeah.
They really need a penalty system. Endurance races without a determining fault, it just kills it.
What's funny too is that if you like jump into like LMU discords or like, for example, I'm in part of the SimMagic Discord, and there's an LMU, it's a game section or a section for every game, and LMU has constant complaints about LMU. Like, it's crazy how unless you go looking for it independently, you don't hear general bad things about LMU. But the same things you see said about this game are out there for LMU. But the media side of things is quiet about it. It's very strange, man. It's so strange.
It's like you're not allowed to talk about how it has bugs also. I mean, it's a good game, but it definitely has its issues.
Agreed. Like, I get called like an LMU hater because I do have my complaints about LMU. I'm just vocal about them. Others aren't. Doesn't mean they're not experiencing those same problems. They're just ignoring them because they're worried about the pitchfork mob.
Yeah, well, I think we have a similar attitude where you almost feel the need to speak up with LMU because nobody does. And then you feel the need to defend other games like PMR and Race Room because no one talks about them.
Yep. To me, I think Race Room is the biggest crying shame in sim racing in terms of how popular it is versus what you actually have in front of you.
Yeah, I haven't even. Yeah, there's a lot of classes in that game I haven't tried yet, but
I could spend all week on top of week in just formula cars. Like, there's so much.
Hey, Nick, you're not alone in that. A lot of people love it, but there's just as many people who don't like it. The force feedback in LMU for anyone who can't see the chat.
Yeah.
But my experience mainly comes from the Corvette, which is probably one of the worst cars to drive in that game.
There is, like, the biggest thing that I like that really makes me, and I know it sounds like I'm an echo chamber in my own brain just complaining about LMU, but I would like to see LMU get better at a lot of things. Like, I'm not against LMU. I'm for every single one of these things. But if you are not able to hold someone accountable for making a mistake, like, you need to be able to do that. And because nobody does that, I tend to harp on it a lot louder, and I sound like I'm just someone that's just bashing on LMU. But, like, I want some of these issues to be addressed, and like, the biggest thing I hate about LMU is the pushback I get from critiquing it.
Yeah,
but even
if you mention
something good in LMU on the fly, I'm talking about how good something is.
It kills me when you try to say like the driving standards, they're bad in all sim racing, but that 100%. Game takes more commitment and the races are longer, at least the ones I do. So it hurts more. It just really frustrates you. And the first thing people say is like, oh, you just got to start from the pits or this or that. I'm like, what?
That's not right. No, dude, I'm here to do some racing, not like, you know.
It's just, I mean, I get it. They love it and they want you to have a good time and all this, but that's not the answer for me.
I agree. I agree. I don't know if I have enough fuel for this race. I might have screwed this up. I think I pulled way too much fuel out of the car.
I think I'm good. This is a track I've never disliked it, but in Forza, I never found it that fun. But I really like it in this game.
When you get into a real like bumper to bumper battle on Daytona, that's where Daytona comes alive. Only one other person. My best races on Daytona, it's no one around me but just one other person. Typically the guy Furry who plays with us. Him and I have a very similar pace on Daytona in just about every class, and we are literally. It's a battle the whole time, and you're not paying attention to the track or anything like that. It's just, you know, geolocation of where the guy you're racing is, and it's just a battle, and it feels good. It's high speed, and you're bumper to bumper. But when someone's got some spread on you, or you're away from someone, it can definitely get boring, because you're just doing these, you know, high speed, not doing a whole lot of driving type laps, you know?
Yeah, but like you're saying, it is good, because it's got the technical section, and then it's got the section where you can get the draft and maybe make a move. But
yeah. Is it Race Room or AMS2 that has the second chicane? Or a second bus stop? I think it's just chicane. One chicane.
I'm not sure. I've never played AMS2, actually.
I want to say it's Race Room.
I do know.
Basically, on the home stretch where you leave the bus stop and you're coming around the last bend for the finish line, there's a chicane out of nowhere, like right before the pit.
Oh, I've never driven that version of it.
Yeah, it's not common.
Hey, does Race Room have Sebring? Because I wasn't able to find it.
No.
I was going to do a comparison because I own that Audi GT4 in that game also. I was going to kind of compare all three, but I couldn't find it.
It does not. It does not. It's a bummer. They are every sim with the exception of AMS2. AMS2 is like the content king. Like if you can think of a track, they got it. Like I think they have 12 versions of Nürburgring down to the 70s, 1970s. I mean,
wow.
So like AMS2 is 100% the content king. I just wish the driving was better in Race Room. But other than that, like if the driving, like with respect to PMR, if the driving in AMS2 was what PMR is, I would never play PMR again. Unless it got somehow better than AMS2. AMS2's content and what you can do in it is, there's not really any ranked play, but again, I've never cared much for ranked, as I've said, but what you can do inside of AMS2, content-wise, between cars, tracks, and all sorts of shit, oh my god, it's so good. But the driving is, it's the slidey sim.
Oh, I was trying to stay inside there. No, you're good. You're good. My chat just reset. I think YouTube's having issues today. It seems like every time I stream.
All the time.
Yeah.
Use Streamlabs? Or just regular OBS?
Just regular OBS. I have a free plug-in I use. I can't remember the name of it right now. I can't. So I'm 9th place overall. It says I'm first in my class. I don't know if that's right or not.
You're first in your class, and you're 9th overall, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Where are you at? I can't see that far up.
I'm in 4th. It's pretty slow on pace, though. I shouldn't say I'm slow, but it's a pretty tight group. I mean, of course, you know, Eagles just crushing everybody.
Hey, that sounds good, Nick. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Yeah, Eagles is fast. I think he has a different gamer tag every time I see him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hey, what's up,
It
Evil?
does.
Yeah, I plan to do the comparison between just PMR, same car, Sebring. I can tell you some things I probably will notice right away is the curbs in ACE are bad, how the car handles the curbs. And just in general, the car's a little harder to drive. I feel like an AC Evo,
You really
the
need to get the
curbs.
296. You can tell they're an Italian company, and they wanted to favor the Italian car. The 296 GT3 drives incredible in that game.
Oh, does it? Yeah, I was going to say the GT4. I feel like if they would change how it handles under braking and on curbs, much better experience. But under braking, it just feels like it wants to dart all over the place. And I'm not even trying to brake hard, and it's just, yeah.
I think they've overcompensated because of the ACC hate that ACC got, and that say ACC was basically you run ABS and you just stuff the brake and let the ABS do the work every braking zone, you know. So I think they wanted to overcompensate to get away from that sort of, you know, this is what people think this game is. All you do is just hit the brakes up with ABS on and you stop immediately and the car does all the work. Whereas now there's more finesse to the brakes, but there might be a little too much finesse you need to do. So they kind of need to split the difference, in my opinion, because I do notice that, like, I was constantly lifting up the rear end on cars, and like the rear end wanted to like come out in straight line braking, not trail braking. I'm braking in a straight line, and the rear end is like wanting to kind of chase around me because I'm braking too hard for what the game is telling me, you know.
Yes, in my case, it was it felt like the front end wasn't stable, and even adjusting the tune, braking balance, everything, nothing changed it. It just felt like it wanted to go all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, and I only did like one lap in the GT4 at the Audi, and then it felt like a GT4 to me, and I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm back into the other cars because I just don't drive GT4 cars.
Hey, see you later, Locke. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. No worries, Eagles. I'm just giving you a hard time. And by the way, that mod tip you gave me about balancing the cars myself and all that for a mod was perfect. The only thing I'm not sure about right now is, can I balance the cars per track and have like a different default setup per track? My initial thought is the way it does the AI tires, like it's like an if statement. If AI, use this tire model, otherwise use this. Maybe you'll know this answer, but can I do like a switch statement with that switches on the track name, and I have a default, like a default BOP that maybe works at 3 or 4 tracks, but then I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I was talking to Eagles. I was talking to Eagles.
Okay, good.
He showed me some tricks.
I was not listening, and you started like you were asking a question. I was like, uh-oh.
No, you're good. Eagles, he knows the modding, but I'm not sure. I would like, I have some ideas. I don't know that anything would ever come of it, but some things I would like to mess around with. But that's probably the only thing I don't know how to do right now.
Yeah, Mike, I think AC Rally, I agree with you on, they focus a lot on the physics of the car, but they have not figured out the tire physics yet. Because the cars feel really good, but it just doesn't feel like there's any connection between the wheels themselves and the actual tarmac. Like the rubber is just some weird, useless shit. But I think they're doing a good job, and I hope that it does dethrone RBR and become the rally sim, because I do like rally in the back pocket for something to do. But right now it's still WRC, EA WRC, and that's arguably an arcade game, but I think from a pure fun and entertainment standpoint, it's the best one right now. Maybe Dirt Rally 2 is probably better, but it's just older and more dated, you know? Less of a game to currently play.
This is a track where we would benefit from mediums. I'm guessing it's the way it is in real life because it's the same way in other sims, but getting the tires up to temp here is always much harder. Okay, yeah, Eagles. I didn't know the way it has that if statement, like it says bad form, if, like it's like if then else. I didn't know if there was also in programming there's a you could do a switch statement, which is kind of like a if this else if it's basically it may even get lowered into that in some languages, but I didn't know if you knew how to do that, if it was possible. What do I want to do at this track? I'm thinking a little extra rear wing. Go up on tire pressures. What are you driving, EJ? Are you GT500?
Yeah, my bad. I just stepped away. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no,
in
you're
the
good.
GT500s. I find that I've been spending so much time in the GTs though that I'm just under driving these GT500 Evos. Like I'm driving them like it's a GT, and I'm just driving way too soft. But yeah, I'm in the Evo.
Hey, yeah, Detroit. Ooh. And I haven't driven this car at this track in a long time.
I have to say, I don't know if it's age or just general bad talent, but the ability to swap between different kinds of cars in this game, or any game for that matter, and just adjust on the fly and remember what the car drove like, I do not possess that talent.
No, I find it difficult to. For me, it's usually how much speed can I carry in, and where's my braking marker in this class, because it changes. So just going, changing class every race would be really hard for me.
Yeah, Mike, the fact that Wreckfest 2 does anything better than AC Rally from a simulation standpoint should tell you how good Wreckfest is actually doing as a game development side of things, and how much work AC Rally has still left to do. One is being sold as the next gen simulator for rally racing. The other one is being sold as a demolition derby, like have fun and like it's got a Borderlands vibe to it. Like the way that the narrator's talking about the game reminds me so much of the Borderlands advertising. It feels like this giant sort of like joke, but it's so incredibly good at driving that I'm like, this is insane. Every time I play it, I'm surprised how good it is. I highly recommend, if you have not dabbled with Wreckfest 2, it is that time.
Yeah, I need to check it out.
To the point where I'm putting it in I think it's going to be my Friday evening stream every Friday now. It's too good not to play. It's too good to ignore. And I'm terrible at it. I come in like bottom 5 of 20 people every time, and I do not care. I don't care at all. Just driving around is too much fun.
Yeah, I actually like the community races for that reason. Is that there's no, at least in my mind, I'm not worried if I finish first or not. It's I feel like any kind of ranked, it just wears on you if all you do is sweaty races.
Yeah.
I would have no expectations if I played Wreckfest.
And I think that's the best part about it, is that you don't have you don't know what to expect, let alone be able to set expectations. And you get in and you're just like, I can't get over how good this is.
Yeah, Mike, I've seen videos of Wreckfest, and the graphics look really good. All right. I think I'm just going to keep the setup the way it is.
It's evil. It's actually wild how much better Wreckfest is at things that are required for Sims than Sims are implementing. It really is this like anomaly in game development of like, all right, if these guys are able to do this and they're not taking it seriously in that aspect, what's going on over at Team B, C, and D, and all those guys? What are you guys doing? Wreckfest is like the Resident Evil of game polish, but in racing. Like, Resident Evil games just come out, like, arguably as close to perfect as possible from a problematic visual standpoint, whatever. And Wreckfest is feeling like it's the Capcom of simulation, where it just works right out the gate. Enjoy.
From the back of the grid. We're going to have to pass a lot of cars to get some points.
In case you can figure out, I'm highly impressed with Wreckfest.
Yeah, no, I feel like I haven't really seen anyone talk bad about it when I've seen it on YouTube videos. Too Fast and Gunner, however you pronounce your name. I'm not sure I'll have anything for you guys this race.
How much fuel we run in this race? I don't even know.
6 laps. I'm going to take 5.1 gallons, but I'm in GT3. Maybe different.
Oh. So I'm just going to run the 11. Too lazy.
Eagles, EJ said he can fix that for you. He'll ram you off. That way you won't get bored.
The problem is that Eagles is too fast, so I can never catch up to him. So I'd be better off waiting for the next lap to get him.
Focus on the line.
He's got some of those Sora hacks.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't going to end well for me, probably. Oh my goodness. How did I navigate that? Whoa. A little bit of lag there briefly. I thought I was going to ram him. Oh. Okay, you made it through. Oh, track penalty.
You've been given a penalty. You've got to give
What?
the time back.
I didn't get a warning at all. That was my first time to that. Unless I was off track while I was behind someone, just trying not to hit them. Oh. Is that a GT500 behind me or is that GT3s? I can't tell, guys. If you're faster, just go.
The race director has given you a penalty for track limits, mate.
Yeah, they've got to fix that. Your warning gets used up when you go off track trying to dodge people at the beginning. Sometimes I think that's what happened.
In general, the entire penalty system is just like, I can make an argument that it's relatively useless.
Yeah, it's just so hard to get right. I don't know that I like a penalty system in any game I've played yet.
Same. Obviously, you need real life stewards judging real life incidents, and it just can't be done. The amount of staff you would need to program the algorithm and keep it feeling human, it would just be, it's an amount of resources I don't think any game really cares enough to do.
Yeah, Forza tried to do a very mini version of that, and they couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
I feel like they were just not analyzing enough data to determine who was at fault. Because it was basically, collision happens, the data syncs on the server so that it knows that it has everything, and then it tries to determine who was at fault. But it couldn't even tell if someone was making a bad rejoin 2 seconds before the collision happened.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I spun out. Oh well.
I don't think I'm gonna shake. Gunner behind me here. Oh, that was a bad exit for me. And I hit the rev limiter. Oh, he ended up getting a penalty. Well, that works. Now we have a real battle. I'm not sure what happened to him. Guys, I think this may be my last race for the day. I'm starting to get hungry. I need to eat.
Oh, that's right. Pragmata came out. I gotta go get that and play it. Let's see what that's about. It's a Capcom game, so I trust it. Going blind.
I'm about to get another penalty. Oh, got a warning that time. Weird. You're a big Capcom fan?
They just they don't miss when it comes to their delivery of games. They really don't. Like, they just it's probably one of the few companies out there that still gives you a day one game that feels like the game is finished. You know, because you see people complain about, like, you know, the state of PMR, the state of this, the state of that, and that's just like games in general. Like, they're all like this now. It's rough. It's the world we live in. And then Capcom drops a new game every once in a while. It's just like, bam, it's complete, it's done, enjoy, have a nice day. And it just is such a good feeling. Like, this game runs at like native 4K max settings Super high frame rate, super smooth, visually next gen, like incredible experience, great feel of gameplay, and like every single time they do it. They know what they are, they know what they do, and they stick to it. And people love them for it. I'm one of them.
I can't remember the last time I played one of their games. I keep nipping that thing. I'm glad that Rod changed that.
You've got to slow down and keep the time back, mate. Pull off the racing
So, like,
line and allow any cars to pass.
this game Pragmata came out yesterday. On Steam, the reviews overwhelmingly positive. 97% of the 2,073 user reviews in your language are positive. Like Capcom every time. I don't think I've ever seen a Capcom day one delivery not say something like that.
What kind of game is it? I'm not familiar with it.
To be completely honest with you, I don't even know. It just looks like it's something I want to play. So it definitely takes place in the future. You are a human in like basically a RoboCop suit with, well, not looking like RoboCop, but the idea is there. You're in a suit, and there is an AI little girl like robot on your strapped to your back that, again, I'm paraphrasing on the backstory here, but it has something to do with she's being essentially hunted, to my understanding, and she's like the last of some AI or whatever it is that, or a rogue AI, and your mission is to keep her alive and, XYZ, A to B type thing, father-daughter type story scenario, but it's got it's essentially The Last of Us in the future, in space, type theme. But yeah. I know what I just said made no sense.
No.
But just go watch the previews.
I'll have to watch it. It's like knowing Lukey, that sounds like something he would like, I think.
Yeah, Mike, that was temporarily pulled. I believe it's licensing issues. We'll be back. Just if I had to speculate and guess, I think you'll see the cars come back soon. They're going to make an announcement, they said, about it to give you more details. In my opinion, they probably should have made an announcement about it before the start of the weekend, because now you've got Saturday and Sunday of complete and total speculation to happen, and of course doomsdaying to go around. But the reality is that it's a very, very small thing. I mean, it could potentially be a huge thing if you let it, but licensing is very simple. I don't know the story of how the licensing works for those cars. If they didn't, if it expired, they didn't do it. I don't know. I don't know any of that. But my guess is you'll likely see the cars come back named something different. That's all. But for now, they had to take it off of everything because of the branding of the cars, is my guess. So
that was weird too. It must have just ran out after they released it, or something. It's so weird.
I have no idea how it works. I know that they found out about it. It briefly came up before the podcast. We were prepping that they had to take it down. It came up literally that morning. So.
Yeah, too fast. T1 was crazy.
But I come from like the someone who's not a manager, but I do have to manage my own company of just me, the one employee. But outside looking in, I would say screw this licensing stuff. If right now with your budget that you have, put your budget into the staff to make the core components of the game. Leave all licensing on, because licensing is ridiculously expensive just to use names. It's insane, actually. So lose the temporary potential customers that rely on official licensing to buy your product. Get rid of them. They're going to be unpleasable in almost all regards, So skip all the licensing. put all your funding into the game and the staff to obviously make the game, and then later on, when things are going smooth, work towards purchasing official licenses to rebrand things, you know, more officially, would be my guess. Again, though, I don't know if they had the license and it expired. If they never had the license, I don't know. I don't pay any attention to the politics behind the scenes because frankly, I don't care. I just want to play the game. Leave me alone. But I do think they made a mistake not addressing it prior to the weekend, because, you know, the weekend, you've got 2 full days of no communication for people to spiral on what is or is not going on with these cars. And people naturally just go worst case scenario. No one tries to think rationally and goes, oh, well, it's probably something minor. And the reality is, like, think about it. If it's a name and a licensing issue, you absolutely have to rip it off of everything that has the naming. It has to be gone, you know? And then the next update or a revisit when they relaunch the DLC or whatever, expect like a name change or some shit like that, you know? But it's very, very basic things. A lot of games deal with this all the time, you know? And like I said, when I referenced AMS2 has Ferraris in the game. Do you think they're not called Ferraris because you have any idea how expensive and ridiculous that license is? So, you know, that's just how it is. But unfortunately, until they address it, the world is going to spiral out of control, and the big dark cloud that looms over this game is only going to grow, you know? So,
Too Fast. Yeah, the AMG is pretty strong, especially at that track. NSX, I think it's pretty good there. It wasn't too bad. I had a couple times I had better laps going, but I nipped the track limits so that they didn't count in the last chicane. But I would say it's pretty good there. I need to make some little adjustments to it, but overall it felt pretty good at that track. But guys, I think that's going to be it for me. I need to get something to eat and then get some things done around the house. EJ, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
no problem, sir.
Yep. And I guess that will be it for me. Thanks for everyone who joined in. EJ, you can hang on for a minute if you want.
All right, cool.